And welcome to Baylor Game Day. Game number 3 of the season for the Red Raiders, coming off a win in Ireland last week. This is game number 1 for a number 1 ranked team from New York. It's Archbishop Stepinac, the Crusaders from White Plains, New York, playing their first game of the season. What you need to know about them, this is a traditional powerhouse in the state of New York in the Catholic School Division of New York. A very good challenge for the Red Raiders this evening. A lot of good things planned for you tonight on our pregame coverage. We'll take a look at the Crusaders, we'll take a look at the Red Raiders, and we'll talk about their successful trip to Ireland. Item number 1, we're going to go down on the field with Craig Cecil and take a look at some of the things that makes Baylor so special, including the golf team. It's off to a great start so far this year.
Great contest tonight. We thank you for joining us on the Baylor YouTube channel. We'll be here for every home game throughout the entire season. I'm Craig Cecil. Joining us tonight to talk a little bit about a couple of sports is Coach Gary Partrick, who's going to coach tonight on the football team, but is also head coach of the Baylor golf team. Coach, I got to talk to you about this. Is there a better high school golf program than Baylor right now?
Hard call. I think we're pretty good.
How many alumni do you have playing right now on the PGA Tour?
We have Les, Harris English, Mitchell, Stephen Ray.
Those are guys that we see every week on PGA Tour broadcast. That's a high bar, so I'm sure you have some motivated young men on your team.
We're proud to be part of this program. It's the elephant in the room. We try not to put that pressure on them, but they understand.
They're handling pretty well because you guys just won the Teleco Invitational. Tell me about that. Who stood out, and how awesome is it to get a win in the fall?
Well, we had Theo Will from Canada, shot 69. And Guillaume Paquette shot 69 with 102 feet. We're playing. Got a couple guys playing really well.
So expectations set pretty high for this crew this year.
I need 3 more to start playing a little bit better.
Let's talk about tonight, football-wise. Tell us a little bit about how the team has improved and what you expect to see tonight.
This team's got a high skill level. We're not quite there yet. We've got a lot of people there at places from last year, but talented group of young men.
And a lot of folks here looking forward to seeing what the Red Raiders are going to do tonight. Coach, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it. Jim, back to you.
It is 85 degrees right now as we get ready for this contest between the Red Raiders and the Crusaders. Both teams very good. Think about this. We talked about the Baylor schedule a couple of times. They're going to play number 1 teams back-to-back. Number 1 teams back-to-back. That's pretty impressive.
700 acres really lends us to space to have unbelievable facilities, not athletic facilities, but academic facilities.
There's just so much to explore, and incredible faculty who are skilled and knowledgeable, but more than anything, care very much about the student experience.
It's really not a job, it's a passion. Every single teacher here has really cared about our success.
To me, what makes Baylor is the teachers, the coaches, that is what made a difference in my life. And so, in choosing a school for my own children, there was no other choice but Baylor.
It's very much about helping the athlete find the right. Every time that a kid puts on the Baylor uniform, it's important.
In so many facets of the Baylor experience, there is no bench. Everybody gets to be a starter in their own way, be it academically, artistically, athletically, or other canvases where we get to shine, exploring your talents and interests, or pick up a new one.
At Baylor, you can do anything you want here if you put your mind to it. You're always going to have somebody supporting you, telling you if this is something we want to do, we can do it.
Our students want the experience of being away from home. They want the freedom of becoming who they were created to be.
I really appreciate the amount of culture Baylor School exposed to me. We have boarders from all over the world. What Baylor School offers me is an opportunity to actually challenge myself.
Us kids, we are the face of the future, and this school allows us to push ourselves to truly be our best.
get the opportunities at Baylor to make a positive difference, to go conquer the world.
At Baylor, we are developing the leaders for tomorrow. Baylor leads.
Welcome back to Baylor Game Day as we get ready for this contest between the Baylor Red Raiders taking on the Crusaders of Archbishop Stepinac from White Plains, New York. Okay, I did my research on this. If you want to take a look at Archbishop Stepinac, aside from football, and their football program is pretty darn impressive. I listed the top 3 alums of Archbishop Stepinac, and here's what I got. Joe Garagiola Jr. Remember, Joe Sr. was a catcher in baseball and eventually the host of the Today Show in New York. While he was hosting the Today Show, his son, Joe Garagiola Jr., was going to Archbishop Stepinac in New York. Number 2 on my list of famous alums is John Voight of Seinfeld fame and Midnight Cowboy and other things. And my number one alum of Archbishop Stepinac in New York is Alan Alda. Did he not dominate an era when he was starring in MASH? So yes, St. Stepinac, they know a few things about being in the limelight. And again, the football team is pretty impressive as well. 9-3 a year ago. In 2022, they went to the semis and eventually lost to their biggest rival, which is Iona Prep. And the head coach of the Crusaders is Mike O'Donnell, Coach OD as they call him, in his 41st year with the school. He's been the head coach since 1988. They won a state championship in 2015. So in New York, for those Baylor fans that are tuning in right now, if you don't know a lot about this program, they are pretty darn good, pretty darn dominant, and their coach, Mike O'Donnell, Coach OD, is an absolute legend in the state of New York. Difference in these two teams right off the bat. This is game number 3 for the Red Raiders, as you know, but this is game number 1 of the season for the Crusaders. They will be on the road at Monsignor Farrell next week, and their first home game not till the 16th when they take on DePaul Catholic. Then we'll meet Holy Trinity, then at Cardinal Hayes, then that rematch with Iona Prep, Kellenberg Memorial, then it will be Chaminade and St. Anthony's. Those will be the games for the Crusaders. As you know, for the Red Raiders, they lost 2 weeks ago here at home, losing 35-24. Then went to Ireland and won convincingly, 42-7. What was the difference between week 1 and week number 2? In my opinion, the difference between those two games was balance. In the first game, I thought Baylor was a little bit on the pass-happy side. In game number 2, in that game in Ireland against Seton Hall Prep, Baylor run exactly 61 plays on offense, 31 rushing, and 30 passing. That's about as balanced as you could get. So I think they did a lot more in the running game, became a lot more balanced. I think that was the difference between week number 1 and week number 2. But hold on, these next 2 weeks are going to be pretty darn interesting. According to Max Preps in the state of New York, Archbishop Stepinac is number 1 in the state, and according to Max Preps, Lipscomb is the number 1 team in the state of Tennessee. Number 1 team in Baylor's division. Lipscomb 1, McCallie 2, and Baylor slipped to number 3. So 1, 2, 3, Lipscomb, McCallie, and Baylor will take on Stepinac tonight, Lipscomb next week. Back-to-back games against the number 1 team in their respective states. Stepinac, the number 1 team in New York, and Lipscomb, the number 1 team in the state of Tennessee. After that, on the road at Christian Brothers, at home against Brentwood Academy, on the road, quote-unquote, at McCallie, then a bye week on October 6th. Life Christian Academy on the 13th. NBA, that'll be a good rematch right here on the 20th, and then Father Ryan here on the 27th. November 3rd is round number 1 of the TSSAA state playoffs. So for the Red Raiders, 1-1 overall, 0-1 at home, 1-0 at a neutral site, and 0-0 on a true road game. Here's what you have to know about Archbishop Stepinac. Will Currid is really a good quarterback, really good. How good? Threw for over 3,000 yards a year ago, 3,294 yards last year. That included 28 touchdowns. He completed 230 passes out of 349. So they are good. They have a good backfield. They alternate Jordan Osborne and Lorenzo Robinson. So they have two very, very good running backs. It is a very complete football team, so get ready. It's not going to be an easy game. It's going to be a pretty good challenge. And just put the eyeglasses, just put the binoculars on Stepinac earlier. Their offensive line looks really, really big and very, very physical. So it will not be an easy contest. It'll be a pretty good challenge, like we said. Back-to-back games against number one teams in their respective states. Stepinac number one in the state of New York, according to Max Preps, and Lipscomb the number one team in the state of Tennessee. Mike O'Donnell in his 41st year as the head football, 41st year at Stepinac. He's been the head coach since 1988 in a team that went 9-3 a year ago. Now they're going to spread things out. They're going to go wide. They'll go 4 or 5 wideouts almost every time, and Will Currid will have the opportunity to pick out a favorite receiver. Now receivers are not very big. 5'10", 6'2", 5'9". The guy that stood out to us when Craig and I were up in the booth was the tight end or wide receiver, because they split him out, and that's Jahai Gary, 6'5", 220. So I'm guessing that the Crusaders will try and match him up against a smaller corner or a smaller defensive back and really try to use that wide out / tight end, Jahai Gary. Keep an eye on him, 6'5", 220 pounds, and a senior at the tight end spot. Will Currid, like he said, threw 28 touchdown passes a year ago and threw for over 3,000 yards last year in 12 games as a quarterback for the Crusaders. He will be in control tonight. Liam Berry is his backup, and he may get some playing time this evening. Like I said, kind of a two-headed monster at that running back spot. Jordan Osborne is 6'1", 215, and a senior. He will carry the load most of the time, rushing for 651 yards a year ago. And Lorenzo Robinson carried it 97 times for 529 yards. So those two players will be the ones that carry the football when they go to the rushing game for the Crusaders this evening. For the Baylor Red Raiders, Will Muschamp, rated number 31 in Rivals, committed to Vanderbilt, has had a pretty good game, had a really good game against Seton Hall. So right now, Whit Muschamp, 7 touchdown passes, just 1 interception, and that occurred in that first game of the year here at Rayburn Gap. So we get ready for this contest between the Red Raiders and the Crusaders. And down on the field is Craig Cecil, and Craig has the head football coach of the Red Raiders, Eric Kimry. Eric, Craig.
The umpire is Travis Thurman. That linesman is Mike Winnie. The line judge is Toby May. The back judge is Jerry Davis. And the electric clock operator is Tony Bambasi.
Certainly going to need it tonight. This is a very good football team, and we're looking forward to the contest. Just a little bit about what the Crusaders bring to the table in comparison to the first 2 teams you faced this season. They've got a lot of power foul talent. They've got a lot of size up front. They've got a seasoned quarterback that takes care of the football. A lot of talent on both sides of the ball. So it's going to take a team effort, and we're looking forward to it. Coach, thank you very much, and good luck tonight. All right, Red Raiders set to take on the Crusaders in just a moment.
Head football coach of the Baylor Red Raiders, Eric Kimry, who comes to Chattanooga after being the head coach at the Hammond School for 16 years. The Hammond School in Columbia, South Carolina. At the Hammond School, he was the head coach from 2005 to 2021 and posted a record of 194 and 20 state titles, 12 of them, including 6 in a row. He was a graduate assistant at his alma mater, USC, where he was a quarterback for the Gamecocks, played under Lou Holtz at South Carolina, was at the Hammond School for 16 years. Now in his second year as the head coach of the Red Raiders, his record overall, 206 wins against 23 losses. As the head coach at Baylor, now 12-3, 1-1 so far this year after, of course, winning a state championship after a 49-year dry spell Eric Kimry brought that state title home to Chattanooga and here on the Baylor campus, and they were very, very proud of that. 2 or 3 key players for this contest. Let's start with the Red Raiders and Amari Jefferson, who didn't have the greatest first game of the year, really came on strong. Game last week, the game in Dublin in Ireland against Seton Hall Prep. He had 2 touchdown receptions. Same for Zane Rostelli, 2 touchdown catches against Seton Hall. He had a great game last week. And so for Amari Jefferson, 2 touchdowns so far this year, both of them last week. For the year, 13 receptions and 245 yards. For Zane Rostelli, 5 receptions, 96 yards, 2 touchdowns. Cam Sparks, 2 touchdowns as well, 6 receptions, 111 yards and 2 TDs. And Max LeBlanc, the tight end, 6 catches, 2 touchdowns, had 1 against Seton Hall last week. 6 catches for the year, 149 yards for the season, ranked number 9 in the state of Tennessee according to Rivals, and of course the commitment to Ohio State. Offensive line for the Red Raiders, I thought made some improvement from week 1 to week 2, and again, so much more balanced in their attack, running and passing a week ago when they were in Ireland against Seton Hall Prep. You can tell from what Eric Kimry said a moment ago, they are ready for a tough battle tonight, and I feel pretty darn sure that they're going to get it. On the offensive line for Archbishop Stepinac, 6'5", 290 at the left tackle spot, 6'3", 285 at the left guard spot, 6 foot 235 in the center position, 6 foot 300 pounds at the right guard spot, and the right tackle is 6'4", 285. And we mentioned some of the receivers led by, I think, 6'5", 220 senior Jahai Gary. So I think that when you take a look at some of the physical matchups, I think Baylor will have an advantage in some spots, but I definitely think that the Crusaders will have some advantages, and they will try to exploit that as well. Taking a look at a little bit of what's going on the Baylor campus right now. Got your breath back and everything?
I do. I do.
Down on the field with Coach Kimry, kind of felt like he was all business down there.
The whole team is like that. And you know, Jim, you were talking about size, and we had, in preparing for this, the Crusaders look much bigger in real life than some of the measurements on paper.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not sure. Maybe I want the scales and height that they have, because when we just take a look at the rosters, and then there's that, and there's the eyeball test, right?
Yes. Yeah, they certainly passed the eyeball test.
Yeah, pretty impressive on the field. And I got this impression from Rayburn Gap a couple of weeks ago, and I think you did as well. They know they're good. Rayburn Gap knew they were good. Maybe Baylor didn't know they were good. But I think if you take a look at what's going on right now, and we're going to check the starting lineups for the Red Raiders. See the Crusaders taking the field right now. Stepinac will be in the white uniforms this evening. White uniforms with the red helmets, playing game number 1. And I think we should talk about a little bit, Craig, what a difference that makes. Because teams, I do believe in the good old adage, you improve most from week 1 to week 2. You have a team that's already played 2 games, and that's the Red Raiders against a team playing their first game of the year. Now, let's check the starters for the guys in red. Let's highlight 2 or 3 players for the Red Raiders right now. First of all, I'm going to start on defense. And Nelson McKnight, the number 1 tackler on the Red Raiders, has 18 and a half tackles so far this year in 2 games. I'm not a math major. That's over 9 tackles a game. That's awesome.
And he's a senior, and he's playing like it. And he's, Jim, you talked about the difference and an advantage for Baylor. This will be their 3rd game, and they faced a team out of the country and a team physically in the first game that maybe had surprised a lot of folks who weren't familiar with Raven Gap. So, in a way, they're way more, obviously way more battle-tested than Archbishop Stepinac.
Well, you take a look at one guy with 18 and a half tackles at a linebacker spot. Most philosophies are on defense. Those defensive line guy kind of slow them down. Linebackers make the tackles. That's the philosophy anyway. And for Baylor, it's worked out that way with McKnight. 18 and a half tackles. Now, he has some help. I think that linebacker core is pretty darn good. Now, Davis Garrett's going to get the start tonight at one of those linebacker positions. One of the 2 changes that the Red Raiders made from week number 2 to week number 3. And the other is Shakai Mills-Knight is going to start at a running back spot. And I said it before when you were down on the field, I just thought the Baylor running game was so balanced last week. They added a little more rush to it. They ran 61 plays, 31 on the ground, 30 in the air. About as balanced as you could be.
Perfect.
And Shakai Mills-Knight is going to get the starting nod at that running back spot. I think they're going to share that position a little bit more.
I was talking, to Coach Gary Partrick before the game, and I said, could this team be better than last year? And he said, yes. He goes, we're not there yet. But yes, he feels like they are very explosive, maybe even more explosive than last year. And I asked him about formations, and they're committed to the 4 wide set.
Let us pray.
Well, when that receiving core, that makes a lot of sense.
We thank you for this beautiful night under the lights and for the splendor of your creation that surrounds this place. We know that both of these teams have traveled many miles this week, and we thank you for your protective presence that has guided these athletes, coaches, families, and fans. We ask that you would continue to watch over them tonight as they meet on this field of play. May our very best be on display as we represent the traditions and missions of our 2 schools. This we ask for the sake of your name. Amen. And go Big Red.
By the dawn's early light, what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleam, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Nice round of applause. Job well done on a song
sir.
that's not easy to do. And welcome back. This is our Baylor Game Day as we lead up to the contest between the Baylor Red Raiders and the Crusaders of Archbishop Stepinac from White Plains, New York. I'm Jim Reynolds, and my partner for many, many years is Craig Cecil. And Cecil and I know where the warts are on each other, so we don't bring that up. I think we're going to have a good game tonight. I said before a couple of times, just think about playing back-to-back number 1s. St. Stepinac, number 1, according to Max Preps, in the state of New York. Number 1, and then the Red Raiders are going to see Lipscomb next week, and Lipscomb number 1 in the state of Tennessee. Lipscomb 1, Macaulay 2, Baylor 3, and again, when you have those 3, they're going to settle it on the field, game in, game out throughout the season.
You know, Jim, one great advantage of that, you have your team's total focus because they know what's in front of them. And the opportunity to face two number ones, that's an easy motivation during practice and everywhere else.
It'll be interesting to see what Stepinac does this evening. We get ready for the coin toss, and we'll be down on the field in just a second. But I think I know what Baylor wants to throw first, because when you have that talented receiving core and Whit Muschamp at that quarterback spot, and he's a guy that's going to deliver the football and not make many mistakes throughout the year, and you've got the receivers that are an elite. It's an elite core. You understand that. But you got to get something. You got to keep them honest with some running game. I think that's what they did in Dublin, which they didn't do, in my opinion, 2 weeks ago. So we'll see if the Red Raiders can continue to be balanced like they were last week and like they probably weren't the week before. And again, we're going to see another really good quarterback, Will Currid. 28 touchdown passes a year ago and threw for over 32, almost 3,300 yards. That ain't bad.
That is outstanding. I mean, Jim, when you throw for over 3,000 yards in a season, I don't care what level of football you're playing at, that's being effective from the quarterback
welcome
spot.
To Chattanooga. Hope y'all had a safe trip. I know we're excited just like you are for this huge matchup between two historic schools and historic programs. Will, you're going to call the toss tonight. My Eagle Globe and anchor is heads. My mic battery logo is tails. I'm going to toss the coin and catch it. If I drop it, I'll pick it up and we'll do it again. What's your call going to be?
Tails.
Tails. He calls tails. It is heads. You won the toss and you would like to receive. All right, which way do you want to kick?
You want to kick?
You want to see the scoreboard in the first quarter. All right, come around here with Travis. Baylor, come right over here with me.
Did you detect a moment of indecision right there?
Yes.
Baylor won the toss, elected to receive. Gentlemen, shake hands. Let's play football.
It's been a long trip to get here, Jim.
And I'm sure a long camp. I bet it has not been as hot in White Plains, New York as
Not
it has
possible.
been in our neck of the woods.
That's
but
right.
we can get ready for this game again. I'll say that Eric Kimry, interesting to me in the fact that the games that they've won the toss here at home both times, what did they do? They want the football.
Play to your strength. That's where your horsepower is on this football team, at least early on, and take advantage of it. You're at home against a team that's traveled halfway across the country to get here. Take advantage when you have the advantage.
And I would say this, stick with me with my analogy now. I think the Atlanta Braves, one of the reasons they're so good, they score in the first inning every time.
Absolutely.
And teams are playing from behind against them every single night. And I think that's the Red Raiders' philosophy right here. Take the ball, move down the field, see if you can score first. Teams that score first win the vast majority of their game. So
they scored
even if
on the first play of the season in game one.
Yeah, I was
they
gonna
scored
say.
quickly last week.
Got the Cam Sparks in play number 1 2 weeks ago here. Scored early in their game in Ireland against Seton Hall Prep. Red Raiders 1-1 for the year. A loss in the opener 35-24 when they opened up and had the lead in that game. A rare come-from-behind victory against Baylor, and then Seton Hall Prep. The game in Dublin was 42-7. Pretty dominant performance by the Red Raiders in that matchup. So you see Baylor in the red uniforms with the white numerals and the silver helmets. And you can see Archbishop Stepinac in the white uniforms, blue numerals, red trim, and the red helmets. And as our official said, historic programs, absolutely. We told you earlier that this is one of the historic programs in the state of New York. And their head coach, Coach O.D. as they call him, Coach O'Donnell, he's been with that program 41 years and the head coach of the Crusaders since 1988. Pretty impressive. And I will say this, he was very responsive and very nice to us during the week, talked to him and gave us the information we needed. I don't think they're afraid of anyone. Least of all me. So the Crusaders will kick and we'll get this contest underway. Marco Grassi will kick off. And there's the kick. They try to keep it short. It's fielded and bobbled. And then up to near the 28, 29, maybe up to the 30-yard line is where the Red Raiders will begin, as Max LeBlanc was the mid-range guy and returned it.
You have to think that the Crusaders have done some scouting, because they had Cam Sparks and Amari Jefferson deep, and they decided, let's go short and take our chances on special teams.
Yeah, I got an idea. Let's keep it away from those two. First down and 10. They'll spot it at the 30 as we're underway in game number 3 of the season for the Red Raiders. Glad you're here. Jim Reynolds and Craig Cecil getting ready for this very, very traditional teams matchup. Starting from the 30, and you see Whit Muschamp, number 9, starting out in the shotgun with 3 receivers left and 1 right. Just underway here at Haywood Stadium. Muschamp has time. Look at that. That's a good omen. Near side, wide open, but overthrown. And the number 2 tight end, Ben Darnell, was wide open. Everyone was looking for the 3 receivers on the left side. Darnell was wide open. I think the problem was Muschamp thought he was going to keep going, and Darnell stopped. That was almost like fielding a punt right there, but a punt that went over his head. You don't get opportunities like that all the time. Little running room, and good enough for a Baylor first down. Little sprint draw look, angling his way to the left side, picking up about 12 or 13 yards up to the 33-yard line, and it's 1st and 10 Red Raiders. Give Baylor some credit, overcoming a completion where they had an opportunity, coming back with a first down. Right up the gut, running room once again, working his way far side. That's Sparks once again, running room, and did he get in? Yes, he did. Touchdown Red Raiders on a 57-yard run from Cam Sparks. How about that? Little team speed.
They go empty backfield to start the game, miss a wide open receiver, 2 runs, and Cam Sparks gets past the first line of defense, and he cruises into the end zone.
So we can say officially the running game is a little bit more
effective,
effective than it was 2 weeks ago.
I think even Cam was surprised when he got to that sideline.
He's going to win that race, I'd say, a bunch of times. So,
and Jim, like we talked about, what a way to start the game. You put your best players on the field first, and you pay it off with another first possession touchdown.
But did the Red Raiders move forward or backward? 2 weeks ago, they scored on the first play. This time it took 3 plays.
Well, you got to get warmed up sometimes.
3 plays for the Red Raiders as they get in the end zone at the 11:22 mark. Cam Sparks, he was the one that scored that touchdown 2 weeks ago on play number 1. 57-yard run by Sparks, proving that I think he might be able to do it all. First possession of the game, and the Red Raiders on the board. 7-0 lead. Three plays and 31 seconds. Time of possession. 70-yard drive. They started at the 30 and got in the end zone 3 plays later. 7-0 lead for the Red Raiders. I'll be interested to see this Crusader team. And again, you hear about them, you read about them, but talk about passing the eye test. Traditional team from the state of New York. And they trail at 7-0. How's my Braves theory? How's it?
So far, real good.
Does that feel good?
Yes.
Like Ronald Acuna leading off with a home run? Fielded in the end zone and will be stopped right there.
Touchback.
Yeah. Wanted to bring it out. Felt like he could bring it out. Decided, no.
So this is about as difficult a start as the Crusaders dreaded, perhaps. Give out a 3 plays, touchdown, and you start the season at the 20 down 7-0.
Yeah, one of those situations where you think, okay, if someone wants the ball first, if I can hold them 3 and out or give up 1 first down, I get the ball back. That's almost like flipping the field on possession number 1. Now I'm going to get the ball to start the second half, and I've held them, but the reverse is true. Will Currid is the quarterback for the Crusaders. On first down. Trying to go a little misdirection that time and go into Lorenzo Robinson. Robinson, they list him at 5'10", 200. Didn't look like a big guy standing next to a 6'2" quarterback, though, did he?
Boy, an interesting matchup we may see during this game. Jahai Gary at the bottom of your screen facing Josh Hampton.
That's what I was talking about earlier. I think Gary has a height advantage on most people he's going to face this year. Currid throws it on the far side. Completed, but not enough for a first down. It's going to set up about a 3rd down and 5. 3rd down and 5 for the Crusaders.
One thing Will Currid does, at least so far, is gets rid of the ball quickly.
You don't throw for almost 3,300 yards.
Take a bunch of sacks.
By not having some skills.
I just think Jahai Gary there at 6'5", 195. That's that's a weapon.
Yeah, we just saw him out on the field, and again, he's number 7. So when we get back,
Referee waves off the penalty. There is no penalty.
picked up the flag. Originally had a flag, then said no flag. Watch number 7, splitting wide to the bottom of your screen, going wide. See, they're looking for that one-on-one coverage right there. And if they get it, I would say watch out. That's not going to be an easy matchup. Currid with that big offensive line in front of him. Throws it and goes over the middle of the field, incomplete.
He wanted Darrison Hooper just too much on that.
Yeah, a little zip on the foot. He's been pressured a little bit. So initially he had time, probably looked off his primary receiver, then was trying to find the secondary, and then the wall was collapsing a little bit. And you're right, he had too much zip on it. Incomplete pass. So that's a 1, 2, 3 and out for the Red Raiders defense.
Actually, Jim, I think he had more time to throw than he thought.
Yeah. Sometimes when you see those bodies coming close, you say, you know what? I'm going to live to fight another day on this one. Grassi will punt it away for the Crusaders as they are unable to convert on their opening possession, not just of the game. Let's see if that was a jump by Baylor on the top part of your screen. There was movement. Question is, was he withdrawn offside? And the other question is, if he was, does that 5-yard penalty give him a first down?
Yes.
I think you're right. Well, that's something you cannot do.
Here comes the offense back on the field.
That's something you cannot do.
For the Crusaders.
Prior to the snap, encroachment. Defense, number 33. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. First down.
That's one of those. There's that fine line, and I get it. You want to be, you want to be aggressive. You want to go after the kicker, but you got to be disciplined in a situation like that. You give that what's the risk? What's the reward? Doubtful you'll get to the punter, and the risk was jump offside and give up a first down via penalty. So the drive stays alive. A little high snap, pass complete far sideline, and hit out of bounds.
And that time, he went to the near sideline, found some single coverage, and another easy completion for Will Currid.
Desire Spellman. Spellman's 5'10", 163, but it doesn't surprise me that they would go quick right here. Hey, try it again. Works once, works twice. Picks up about 5, 6, 7, maybe 7 or 8 yards on the first down play. So the drive kept alive via the penalty. 7-0 lead as you see for Baylor. Baylor scored on play number 3. A nice run by Cam Sparks. Clock, as you can see, stopped for the moment. 10:27 to play first half. Little delay action down the field and into the secondary for another first down.
And that is Lorenzo Robinson, who hit the seam and hit it hard. Big, best play of the night for the Crusaders.
I would say saw that hole, and you're right, got to it quickly, saw an advantage, moved it down the field, and now all of a sudden, look what that 5-yard penalty is done for the Crusaders. They bring it down to the Red Raider 32-yard line.
Stepinac. This is their first sideline warning. First down.
Don't cross this line, Crusaders. Got that warning. Sideline warning. 7-0 lead for Baylor. See the twins on that defensive line. Quincy White, Damani White. Going with a 3-man front most of the time. And John Mofa Jr. at that nose tackle position. Currid's been a little bit too quick so far. Look at that. They are fearful of that defensive line and pressure, just going quick.
Second or third time tonight, they go Hooper, Worrell, and Jahai Gary on the near side, but they find Zaire Spellman on the far side and another easy completion and a first down conversion.
Yeah, I haven't moved the chains as of yet, so I'm thinking maybe someone would want to do that. Move them. There we go. Are they giving them? I don't know.
And let's credit Will Currid.
There we go. Yes.
He just saw what's the quickest, straightest route to positive yardage, and he took it.
Now to the 22-yard line, another first down for the Crusaders. They call another timeout?
Timeout. Baylor.
Baylor
first
calls
charge
a timeout.
of the first half.
And that makes sense. I would say this, hey, let's calm down for a second. All right, we play quick. They play quick. That's all right. But I think they have to get a little bit more pressure, stay at home a little bit on receivers. I think maybe you have to get a little bit closer if you're a corner to your receiver. And then I would think on the other sideline they're going to say, you know what they want to do is get a little bit closer to the receiver. This may be one of those where you tuck it away a little bit. I'm not sure you need the long play, but maybe a fade or something like this. Maybe this is the time you take a shot at that end zone a little bit.
Coach Kimby probably just wanted to settle his defense down.
Yeah.
Probably a bit unnerved after the penalty and a couple of big gains here. But let's credit the Crusaders. They have done a great job at spreading the field, and Will Currid has found the easiest throw to make the most yardage.
Robinson in there at the running back. On the right hip. Will Currid. There he goes. Throws it long. Receiver goes down. Receiver thought there was a bump and a penalty.
And again, Jim, 3 wides on the bottom. The defense has to account for that. Talented big receivers. And again, they go up top to Zaire Spellman.
Well, I think both of these teams will have the same philosophy. Who has a single coverage? And that's where the advantage is. On Baylor's side, does Sparks get single coverage? Does Amari Jefferson get single coverage? He just dumps that over the defensive line and works his way inside the 10-yard line down to about the 6, where it'll be 1st and goal. This is the 9th play of this drive, forthcoming for the Crusaders.
That time, Jim Spellman heads to the end zone, and they hit the running back Lorenzo Robinson underneath for just a really easy completion, again, because Baylor has to account for the 3 receivers at the bottom of the screen.
This is the definition of spreading things out, isn't it?
It really is.
Down to the 7-yard line. Batted away, nicely done. That's a good one-on-one matchup and pretty good one-on-one coverage by TJ Fields.
Yeah, TJ got his hands in there at the last moment, located the football, and yanked it loose.
I'm just not sure if I'm on the 7, if I'm throwing that pass. I might just pound away. And here I am telling a coach that has won a state championship and has been at the school 41 years. Hey.
It's constructive criticism, Jim.
I'm sure he worries about what I say. How many state championships you won, JR? And the answer is none. And touchdown.
Darrison Hooper, easy completion.
I think I'll say this. I think my philosophy was good because they had the corners playing off and they went underneath. They moved the corners up and they got in back.
They just threw basically a fade in the corner of the end zone. Darrison Hooper had single coverage and took advantage. And just like that, Jim, again, special teams. A miscue on special teams and the game's tied.
Yeah, that penalty turned everything around on that drive, keeping the drive alive first and foremost, and then the Crusaders are almost unstoppable, going for 2. Picked off by the Red Raiders now. So it remains a 1-point lead. So it's 7-6.
And again, an answer on special teams. You basically block a 2-point, you shut down a 2-point conversion.
Let's go back on that completed pass to Darrison Hooper. That's not the easiest throw in the world, and we can see why Stepinac's quarterback, Will Currid, has thrown for 3,300 yards a year ago and 28 touchdowns.
I think the best thing he did there, Jim, he put some air under it and just let his guy go get it.
Had an advantage, and again, that's the whole key to this, finding advantages.
Here's this 2-point conversion. A little bit of a high snap, and then there's just nobody to throw it to.
Well, the timing's messed up by that high snap because you have to volleyball to yourself, and by that time, some of those receivers have kind of run out of room and they've gotten themselves to the boundary. So, you know what? 2 special team plays may be significant on that drive.
Absolutely.
The special team play that kept the drive alive for the Crusaders and that 2-point conversion attempt where just a little bit of a high, again, not a big penalty. It was a 5-yard penalty that made a difference, and it wasn't anything big other than a high snap that negated that 2-point conversion attempt. That drive, by the way, was 10 plays as it turned out, 80 yards.
Again, they go short, kicking to Grady Joyner, and they've obviously made the decision that Cam Sparks and company are not going to beat us on special teams.
That drive, as it turned out, talk about going quick, was only 1:55. Had it for 10 plays, 1:55.
That is just the way the game is played right now.
Yes. Garrison Hooper, 7-yard touchdown cast. So Baylor scores at the 11:22 mark, and then the Crusaders come back at the 9:37 mark with a touchdown. 9:31 to play in quarter number 1. 7-6 Red Raiders on top. Trying to get the first guy to miss, and pretty good choice. I would say pretty good defense by the Crusaders right there.
Nice open field tackle by Damon Smith, the senior, 5'10", 175. When you can handle number 7 in the open field.
When you can hold Amari Jefferson to a yard, you say yes.
You're doing your job.
All day long. Second down and 9 from the 19 in a 7-6 game here early on. Muschamp goes to Jefferson again. Stopped him once, but he picks up 5 right there. So it makes it a third and manageable. And Jefferson was just kind of going against the grain where all the flow was going. But Muschamp throwing on the back foot that time while retreating. He's got some talent as well.
He might have been one cut away from taking that one the distance.
Yeah, you don't want to get him one more step, I'll say that. Offensive line for the Red Raiders. We'll check them in just a moment. Doing a pretty good job so far tonight. This on possession number 2 for Baylor. Jefferson wide left. Rastelli wide right. Bad snap, and Muschamp makes the smart play. How many times have you seen quarterbacks in a situation like that try to scoop it, keep the play alive, whatever? And I understand you want to make some big things happen, but you also want to avoid that big mistake as well.
Number one job of the quarterback is protect the football. And now all of a sudden, Jim, you're kicking it back to the Crusaders.
And they're going to get good field position as the return man stands near midfield. 2 return men. Deontay Douglas is number 2, one of the return guys. Stands on at the 44-yard line now. Red Raiders kick it away, rugby style. It goes on that far side, takes a big hop. And the Crusaders are going to take over about the 46-yard line. So we've had 2 or 3 big plays in this game already, or maybe magnified to become big. And that bad snap over the head of Muschamp, that may turn out to be a big play as well. So it turns out to be a 1-2-3 and out for Baylor. They scored on their first possession and have to punt on possession number 2. So a quick drive for Baylor, and with 7:43 to play in the first quarter. The Crusaders from White Plains, New York. Archbishop Stepinac. Start at the 45-yard line. 45-yard line for Will Curran. Now let's see if defense made any adjustments while they were on the sideline a moment ago. Handoff slipping down for a moment, regaining some balance and picking up positive yards. Ball is out. And marked down another potential big play on the night. Turning it over after a decent little run and a little bit. There's Nelson McKnight. Number 1 tackler. We mentioned him earlier. 18.5 tackles per game. Gets the fumble recovery right there, and big play, big break for the Red Raiders.
Still have a Crusader player shaken up on that play. And how about Nelson McKnight, almost on his back, sees the football and says, look what I found. Let's see this again. Watch the impact here. Solid helmet right on the football. That knocks it loose. Nelson McKnight is there to bring it in.
Could be a big play. It could be a big play just momentum-wise, because you felt like Stepinac had a little momentum going their way. That ends in a hurry on the turnover. First turnover of the night. Stepinac player.
That's Jordan Osborne.
He's one of their top running backs and a guy they really depend on. Let's see if he's struggling to get off. I'm not sure Again, always not a doctor, but the way he's walking off the field, you just don't know if a guy like that's going to return. So they use a 2 running back system, so they alternate a lot, so they still have depth at that position. As the Red Raiders will take over with 7:34 to play first quarter. 7-6 lead for Baylor. They scored on their first possession. Stepinac countered, scored on their first possession. Baylor forced a punt, then the turnover. And they start from the 44-yard line. A little stiff arm, pretty good pop right there that time. Cody Davenport wouldn't bring him down. He said, I'm not going down until I pick up about 4 or 5 or 6 more yards.
Just kept the wheels turning and a nice solid gain on first down.
He started the first game not in the starting lineup tonight, and guess what? That's a good way to get your starting job back, I'll just tell you. A little second effort right there. You know, ends up picking up 4 yards. Okay, not that big a deal. Instead of it being 2nd and 10, it's 2nd and 6. Play action. Muschamp goes long, near sideline, has a receiver, Jefferson, and there it is. Caught on the sideline for a 40-yard touchdown pass. Amari Jefferson, touchdown reception number 3 of the year.
That was a spectacular pass by Whit Muschamp. Dropped it right in the bucket. There's a flag down. We will wait on this call.
I can check some body language. I can tell who that's going to.
Ineligible receiver downfield.
Wow.
Offense number 74. 5-yard penalty, replay, 2nd down.
And they're going to call Grayson McGowan, the junior, for being down the field a little too early.
On a pass play like that, I'm sure.
Well, on an RPO, sometimes
yeah, you're right.
That can easily happen.
You're exactly right.
But that pass was just spectacular.
I was going to say, had air underneath it. Amari Jefferson
was
in stride.
In stride, ready to hit the end zone.
And beat his man. So instead, it's 2nd and 11. Swing pass, far side, complete. Past 1, good block, dives forward, picks up a first down. Nice second effort that time by Cam Sparks.
2 great things there. Number 1, Whit Muschamp threw the ball where Cam Sparks could catch it in stride, and then that second effort to stretch it out and move the chains.
That wide receiver screen with the blocker in front of him. Just enough block right there to allow your receiver to duck inside, pick up a first down to the 32-yard line. Muschamp hands it off. That's Shakai Mills-Knight, who is listed as the starting running back for tonight's game. So Baylor also using 2 running backs tonight. Mills-Knight and Davenport, both being successful on the ground so far. And again, I just like Baylor being a little bit more balanced. And I understand with that receiving core they have. I get it. I get it why you don't mind passing the football. Just keep them a little bit honest with that running game, and I think that's all they're doing. 2nd down, about 4. A little high snap once again, and a penalty flag.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense number 11. 5-yard penalty still, 2nd down.
They're going to call that on Max LeBlanc. I don't know if he was lined up wrong or actually jumped the count.
Yeah, I didn't see a lot of movement, but 2nd and 9.
They'll make it 2nd and 9 for Baylor.
2nd down, 9 yards to go for the Red Raiders. Whit Muschamp takes the snap and rolls to his right. Throws it on the run nicely. That's about perfect right there. Did you see the reaction of the cornerback or safety that was rolling out near side? They had good coverage. They had 2 guys right there, but if you throw the perfect ball, no one's going to get to it.
That was Naeem Aponte on coverage, and there was literally nothing he could do about it because that pass was thrown that good.
Down to the 19-yard line where it's 1st down and 10, and he punched at the air after that completed pass, kind of saying, you know, Coach, what do you want me to do? I was right there, right where I needed to be. Sparks gets the signal from Muschamp, and he'll get the carry, and again, a whistle. I don't know if you could see that signal from
Prior to the snap, false start, offense number 58, 5-yard penalty still, first down.
Muschamp was giving the signal behind his back to Cam Sparks in back of him. So just signaling a little bit, so I'm not sure what that final adjustment is. It's one of those subtleties. See if we can see it another time. So on the penalty from the 19 back to the 24-yard line, where it's first down. Now you're in back of the sticks. Muschamp with Sparks standing next to him. Sparks gets the call right in the middle. Boy, not much there between the tackles that time. Good defense by the Crusaders, and they tried to run it. Dante Roden, 6'4", 240 junior, and Roden was right there. Number 90 in the white uniform. Made a nice stop that time. There just wasn't much of a hole there.
There wasn't. DeAndre Newby effective, and Kadir Dembele also very effective on that defensive line.
So two receivers left side, single setback.
And Briggs Cherry checking in at quarterback now for the Red Raiders.
There you go. Cherry with pressure. Rolls out near side and stops, fires, looks, and incomplete.
I'm going to tell you what, let's give Briggs Cherry a lot of credit because Tommy Cottrell was actually barreling right down on him, ready to take his head off, and he had the poise to relocate, keep his feet under him, and still make an accurate throw into the end zone.
Some of the times those quarterbacks know they're going to take a hit. That's when you show your guts a little bit. I know when I stop and set and throw, I'm going to take a pop. So it's Cherry at quarterback. And Davenport sends next to him. Someone had the snap count
Somebody
wrong.
had it wrong. Well, at least 5 of them had it wrong.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense, multiple players, 5-yard penalty still, third
I don't know if I've ever heard that, but he's right.
That's outstanding. He's correct.
There were several that had
multiple
that.
Players.
Yeah, there was. Red Raiders not quite in sync, I would say, on that particular play. 7-6, good game, entertaining game, and again, here's my breakdown on this game. I'm going to dumb it down. Red Raiders like to go long, Crusaders like to go short.
Yes.
Red Raiders are going to beat you on some team speed.
And they're going to ask, the officials are asking Deontay Douglas to leave the field. There's some kind of equipment problem he had, so he will check out.
Sometimes it's equipment or maybe blood or something like that.
Something to do with his shoes.
No, they're taking those little, I don't know, sweatbands or something down. Cherry to throw with time. Going in the end zone, looking long, and that is incomplete. That's one of those, there were 3 or 4 white jerseys in that area. And I understand you got a lot of faith in those guys in that receiving corps, as we said, but that's thrown into a crowd trying to hit Zane Rostelli in the end zone. Can't quite get it done, but
Cam Sparks there too. Just too many white jerseys there.
That's one of those, that offensive line gave them all day to throw. They're going to try a 46-yard field goal. 46 yards. Cooper Cowan with Muschamp to hold. Going for 46. How do you know if you don't try? Got the distance. Wow.
What a kick.
Wow.
46 yards, Jim. And had distance to spare.
Yes. Sure did. Wow. I gave it a 2-hour a second ago. That's pretty impressive. 4:56 mark of the first quarter.
Jim, that play right there will give your team confidence. Maybe late in the game, a one-possession game, you need 3 to win it or extend it in an overtime. That's a big kick for Cooper Cowan.
I agree with that. You know, next week you're late in the game against the number 1 team. You're taking on Lipscomb, whatever, with a lot on the line. Do you have confidence in that guy? Yeah. He did it under the lights.
And the best thing
yards.
is he's got confidence because he just did it.
Plus, just scoreboard-wise, a 4-point lead's a lot different.
Well, too, Jim, you know, they continue, despite some bumps in the road, some penalties, to dictate offensively, play to their strengths.
Kick it off to the Baylor Red Raiders. Deep to receive, Troy Worrell, and there's
That was impressive. And you know me, I don't impress easily. 10-6 lead for the Red Raiders.
And that drive started with a great hit that led to a fumble recovery.
That's right. Yeah, turnover and score, turnover and points. Line drive kick, stays in bounds, up to the 10 to the 15 to the 20 in running room. Far sideline, up to the 40 to midfield. Whiffs on the tackle and cuts it near side. How about that?
Troy Worrell, and that was a fantastic return. It was actually a great kick. He almost stepped out of bounds at the 2, Jim. Read his blocks, hit the sideline, then made a great cut at the middle of the field to pass the kicker and head to the end zone.
Wow, who wants the momentum? You get a 46-yard field goal, followed up by a 99-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. Wow. My highlight reel's already full. And we're in the first quarter. 99. We won't see another 99-yard kickoff return in a while.
Troy Worrell barely kept his feet in bounds to start the return and ended up in the end zone. Again, Jim, they had trouble with the snap.
But good.
They recovered. That was a low snap that they managed to turn around.
Wow. A 10-6 lead didn't last long. 13 now. (13-10), 3-point lead. Well, that 4-point lead was short-lived, wasn't it?
Special teams.
Wow. Yeah, talk about it. Even in, as we mentioned, Archbishop separating from New York. This is their first game of the year. Game number 3 for Baylor.
And you know now exactly why they are ranked number 1 in the state in New York.
That's pretty salty, I think. Number 1 in New York. They've got a few high schools in that state, if I'm not mistaken.
They do.
And this is one of those traditional powerhouses. And again, for those of us in Chattanooga or Baylor fans or whatever that don't know a whole lot about New York football, this is one of the traditional teams. Won a state championship, I believe, 2015, and the head coach of the Crusaders, Mike O'Donnell, Coach OD as everyone calls him, has been the head coach here since 1988. They won a state championship in 2015. They made it to the semifinal round in the playoffs a year ago before losing to Iona Prep. Let's have another kickoff. What could possibly happen here? Kick again, keeping it short. Amari Jefferson just moves up and says, I'll take it. And he brings it up to the 40. Some speed. No horse collar on that. No sideline. There it goes. Yeah, that was too late. I don't know if there was a horse collar, but that was too late on this. That's 2 or 3 yards into the sideline. You can't do that. Getting a little dicey down there, isn't it?
A little chippy.
Yeah. I think both these teams are saying, you know what? I think we're in a football game.
After the play, late hit, out of bounds, kicking team. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run, first down.
All the way down to, with the penalty, all the way down to the 32-yard line.
Let's check this out, boy. Amari with a great crease. Now there is where the penalty is. The momentum can carry you out of bounds, but when you're 3-4 steps deep and you throw the player on the ground, that's what causes the flag.
High snap, little running room left side, inside the 25, hit from behind down to the 24-yard line, but
that's a nice gain by Shakai Mills-Knight.
Inserted in the starting lineup this evening. Nice job. Muschamp back at the quarterback spot. Again, they do it on purpose to bring Briggs Cherry in. That's not a demotion. That's not a They do that by design to get both quarterbacks an opportunity. Throwing to the near sideline, not quite there, incomplete pass.
Wanted Max LeBlanc, just a little miscommunication there, off stride on the catch. Ball was a little wide.
Well, I like the philosophy is you have 2nd down and 2, kind of a waste down, a gamble down, if you will. Whit Muschamp throwing on the run is pretty impressive.
They stay aggressive.
Yeah. Cam Sparks, single setback. Sparks gets the call and has running room. Sparks near sideline, brought out of bounds right at the 10-yard line.
Well, this may come back. There's a flag down. That was a gaping hole on the right side. And they're apparently going to call Baylor for holding.
Holding, offense number 2. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul, replay, 3rd down.
Zane Rastelli called for the hold.
Again, when you get those receivers blocking downfield, coaches love that, I get it. Sometimes they get a little bit, I mean, they block all the time. It's not like you're schooled like an offensive lineman is. An offensive lineman are schooled on what you can get away with, right? I mean, now.
Yes. Yes.
You may hold for a second, but you got to release. Receivers don't get that blocking. No flag on that? I thought maybe a count early. Wow, one-on-one coverage. Look at that.
That looks like a normal pass. It was far from it. Whit Muschamp about to take a hit through an incredibly accurate football where just his guy, Cam Sparks, was going to catch it. It wasn't high. It wasn't off target. It was low and in stride. Fantastic completion.
It really was. And a little bit of finesse on that one as well, aside from the fact that you're going to take a hit. Got 23 points scored in the first quarter already. And close to more. Hand off to Davenport. Picks a spot, finds an opening, tries to go wide and tripped up before he can really put his foot in the dirt or plastic, turf, or artificial surface and kind of cut it upfield. But he made an opportunity for himself by going wide, and you could see the speed and acceleration that time. Just couldn't quite turn the corner that time and really go north and south to the end zone.
Baylor goes no huddle here, working a little tempo.
High snap, Muschamp to keep. Up the middle, spins, and just denied the end zone, but
saw something he liked, and that hole closed quickly at the goal line.
I would say this, though. They are keeping the Crusaders honest, using different guys. Muschamp not known as the great scrambler or anything like that. He does have some power. Went up the gut, did a pretty good job for himself. And it's 2nd down. 2nd down inside the 5 at about the, let's call it the 2-yard line. Officials have something to tell us.
Illegal formation, 5 men in the backfield, offense. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot, 2nd down.
So all that hard work by Whit Muschamp. Those shots he took and all those things, trying to get to the end zone. Move it back to about the 13-yard line. Nice night.
Beautiful.
Nice night in Chattanooga. Pretty night in Chattanooga.
Not quite as warm as 2 weeks ago, Jim.
Yes, that was Hades
little
1.
Toasty.
Yeah, Hades 1 2 weeks ago. Up the middle, let Sparks do the job this time and gets back inside the 10 and down to about the 7-yard line. Muschamp had him down to the 2, then the penalty. Less than 2 minutes to play, and let's say an action-packed first quarter. Is that fair?
Absolutely. Folks have gotten their money's worth.
They had a 99-yard kickoff return, a 46-yard field goal. Trying to go quickly, hit that hole in a hurry, and only got a yard or 2 down to about the 5.
Nice job that time by Kadur Dembele of the Crusaders from his nose guard spot.
We watched him. He's impressive. Okay, now it's 4th down. So what do you do? If it's me, I've just proven my kicker can do anything, and it's early. I'm taking the points. But I'm taking the 3. That's what I do. This may be a hard count to get someone to jump or just try to go quickly and catch someone off guard. Yeah. I think they're just trying to get someone to see if they would jump and then say, you know what? Let's kick the field goal and kind of move into the second quarter all tied up and go
Timeout.
We do know
Baylor.
the points.
Second
You're
charge
going to need a lot of
timeout
points
of
tonight.
the first half.
Yeah, I think you could kind of see that one coming.
Although this is their second timeout in
Right.
the first half, Jim, so they're evidently serious about just evaluating the potential to go for it here.
I just see so many games and so many times, especially early. You go for it like this, and then later on you go, why didn't I take
chase.
why didn't I take that 3? I had an automatic 3.
You know, on the flip side of that, Jim, offense has been the strength of this football team, especially early. You believe in your guys. What's the best thing we can do here? And it looks like discretion will lead to a field goal.
That's a couple times now they've listened to me. And that'll get you beat every week.
Which is scary.
I was going to say.
Yes.
that'll put you behind the 8 ball every time. 13-10 right now. Cowan already with a 46-yard field goal. He didn't even work up a sweat on that one.
That's easy.
He said, I had 46-yard earlier.
And it's Baylor 13, Archbishop Stepinac 13.
So we're tied at 13-13. I like that call. So he had a field
You
goal.
just want to be right
That's
all
it.
the time.
I'm so conservative. So we had a field goal by Baylor, a 99-yard kickoff return by the Crusaders, and then another Baylor field goal. Our 6th score of the night. And guess what quarter we're in?
1.
Uno. Still have 1:01 to play.
This is a full Big Chief tablet night, stat-wise.
I had that as a 22-yard field goal. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Sound right? A drive that took a couple of minutes. I think 10 plays.
Cooper Cowan with kickoff for Baylor. To receive
So Cowan tonight 2 for 2, a 22-yarder and a 46-yarder. Like I said, that's a good night already. We haven't played 12 minutes yet. 10:59, I believe exactly.
It's hard to believe there's a minute still remaining
That's what I'm
in
saying.
the first quarter.
Kickoff is a little bit short.
Watch out.
By design. Boy, their special teams on both sides have been pretty darn impressive so far tonight.
I think what you're right. The special teams, I mean, Darrison Hooper's trying to score. He's not trying to get a decent return. He's going, I'm going to the house again.
Yeah, he's the one with a 99-yard kickoff return a moment ago. And he said, yeah, kick it to me. Go ahead. Or as Pete Alonso said, yeah, throw me that pitch again. So 55 seconds to play in quarter number 1. 55 seconds in quarter number 1. Archbishop Stepinac. Underneath pass. A lot of teams have used that. One-on-one speed. There's our guy, right?
Jahai Gary.
We like him, but kind of like him in a crowd. But he sidestepped the near sideline and picked up good yards.
That time came back to the football.
Yes.
Was just a nice look and a well-executed play and a big gain for the Crusaders.
From the 35 to about the 36.
And again, Jim, an athlete that moves so gracefully. It looks like he's not trying, but he covers a lot of ground effortlessly.
Yeah, look right to the left of your screen, number 7 there. That's the guy we're talking about, made the last play, and you're right. Smooth as glass. Oh, that's picked off on the near sideline. How far can he go?
And let's credit number 8, Joshua Hampton. He drew the assignment of Jahai Gary, has worked hard all night, waited, and broke on the football, beat Jahai Gary to the football, and it's an interception for the Red Raiders. And perhaps a little too much celebration afterward, but boy, Josh Hampton.
That's
great
one of
play.
those, if you wait another half second, it's a touchdown the other way.
Yes.
I mean, you have to make a break on that ball, and I mean make the break on the ball with commitment.
Joshua Hampton had to go high, competed, and just took the ball from Jahai Gary.
2 turnovers tonight for Stepinac. The 1 fumble recovery, now the interception. Still in the first quarter. Like I said, we've had a great first quarter highlight reel in a tie ball game.
Jim, when you have to go against practice guys like Joshua Hampton has to go against, that's the benefit right there. When you go against Amari Jefferson, Rastelli, Cam Sparks, there's the payoff.
Yeah, you're either getting better or you're going home
After the
crying
play,
every night.
sideline warning, Stepinac.
Oh.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, Baylor, number 33. These penalties offset, first down.
Wow. That means someone, it wasn't just, hey, get back. Someone went on the field and got perturbed on the other sideline, on the Crusader sideline. But the change of possession does indeed occur, and Baylor begins at the 38-yard line. Second turnover of the night. When you think about that, Stepinac's turned it over twice, and we're in a tie football game.
And it's a tie game.
Yeah. When you lose the turnover margin by 2, like I said, we're still in the first quarter. High snap once again. Going wide, cutting it upfield. Shakai Mills-Knight, the ball carrier for the Red Raiders. Boy, this is a picturesque sunset. This is nice. This is a pretty good view right here now.
It'll get it done, that's for sure.
Bring it inside the 35 to the 33-yard line. So that's a good 5-yard pickup. And that's through the first couple of games of the season. That's where Baylor's averaging. They're averaging about 5 yards a carry on offense. So probably not as explosive in the running game as they are in the passing game, as there's zeros on the clock. And we've played 1 quarter, 26 points on the board.
That is the end of the first quarter.
13-13 tie. I would say this, as entertaining as promised. Baylor scored in their first possession. 57-yard touchdown run from Cam Sparks. 30-some seconds, 38 seconds of the game.
Here's the pick by Joshua Hampton again.
That was nice. So it was 7-0 Baylor. Then Darrison Hooper with a 7-yard touchdown run at the 9:37 mark. They went for the 2-point conversion, which was no good. So it was 7-6, Baylor on top. Baylor gets that 46-yard field goal we talked about from Cooper Cowan. That made it 10-6, Baylor on top. The ensuing kickoff returned 99 yards by Troy Worrell, and that made it 13-10. Stepinac on top. And then Cowan with a 22-yard field goal at the 101 mark of the first quarter. That tied the game at 13-13.
Second and 5 for Baylor.
All right. Second quarter, back to action.
It's been a whale of a game, and we're in the first quarter.
Like I said, not anymore. We're number 2 at the 33-yard line.
50-minute first quarter.
Shit. A little lengthy. We're paid by the hour. Handoff near side, running room, good head of steam. And sometimes there's a running back, and he's not the biggest guy in the world, Mills-Knight, but I just like running backs finishing the run, putting the shoulder pad down and go, yeah, you're going to tackle me. I'm probably not going to break this tackle, but I'm going to pick about 3 more and carry you with me for a minute.
And Jim, the left side of that Baylor offensive line, very effective that time.
Jimmy Bryson and Owen Rose, Don Clifford, Teague Johnson, and Gray McGowan on that offensive line doing a nice job that time. I just like the way Baylor has been mixing things up. Play action. Muschamp throws on the line this time, and Max LeBlanc right there on the sideline. That's a tough cover too. LeBlanc, 6'5", big guy, Ohio State commit. Makes the reception near side. And another.
Deontay Douglas playing defensively for the Crusaders. There's just nothing he could really do. Whit Muschamp kept his eyes up the field.
First and goal, going quickly. hit at the 7 and brought down at the 5, or it'll be second down and goal. Red Raiders trying to regain the lead. Tie football game early in the second quarter. Red Raiders going quickly. Handoff, taking it wide, breaking a tackle, getting close to the end zone. Cam Sparks.
This won't show up in the stats, but let's credit Gabe Duran with great penetration there, the senior defensive back. That's what led to that play being strung out and snuffed out by the Crusaders defense.
Well, the Crusaders lost a helmet, so I'm not sure the officials detected it. He got that helmet in a hurry, got it back, and they say, I think they're now waving. Yeah, now they're making that change. Lost a helmet, which means you have to sit out a play. I think you have to go into timeout officially. Go into timeout, sit over here by yourself for this one play, and then you can get back in. Big play in the game right here, even though we're early. 3rd and 2, 3rd and goal from the 2. Lining up in a little power look right here. Muschamp's going to roll out. Back of the end zone and wide open. Wide open for the score is the tight end, Max LeBlanc.
Boy, what a great concept that time, Jim. LeBlanc lined up like he was blocking, sold it, split through, absolutely wide open, back right corner of the end zone. An easy throw for Whit Muschamp.
For Max LeBlanc, his 3rd touchdown reception of the year. We're good? We're all good? Yeah. Cal will try the extra point now. Good night. Kick on the way. So the Red Raiders break the 13-13 tie with a touchdown. Muschamp to LeBlanc. Short little touchdown toss, but
sold it like he was blocking, released to the back of the end zone, and that's an easy pitch and catch.
Red Raiders back on the board at the 10:59 mark of the second quarter. Now with a 20-13 lead. That drive was 62 yards. Time of possession a minute 40. And 6 plays. Muschamp to LeBlanc for 2 yards in the touchdown. Extra point by Cowan, and Red Raiders back on top. They score first in the second quarter and regain the lead. Red Raiders so far tonight, first possession touchdown, second possession punt, field goal, touchdown. So they've had 5 possessions already and scored on 4 of the 5. 2 touchdowns, 2 field goals, and lead at 20-13. Fielded on about the 23-yard line and up to the 30, maybe the 31-yard line is where the Crusaders will begin. Baylor ranked 3rd in the state of Tennessee according to Max Preps, and Stepinac number 1 in the state of New York. Pretty good matchup. Like I said, the Red Raiders will face another number 1 unless something happens to our friends at Lipscomb tonight. Next week, Lipscomb number 1 in the state. How about that game next week right here?
1st and 10 for the Crusaders.
So 1st and 10 from the 31-yard line. Red Raiders regain the lead. What I like is so far tonight, Craig, we've had that punch counter punch. You score, I return. You know, you scored a 46-yard field goal. I'll match that with a 99-yard touchdown.
Yes.
Kickoff return. Little running room, just trying the left side, going a little bit wide, cutting it back in near the hash mark, and picking up 4 yards on first down.
That game next week, Jim, if the Baylor folks happen to be out of town or living out of state, you can catch it right here on the Baylor YouTube channel.
Just go to YouTube, search Baylor School Football. I just go to YouTube and put the I Heart Craig Cecil on there. It works for me. And I go automatically right here. Over the middle, slightly overthrown on one receiver, underthrown. He got it over the linebackers and tried to get it underneath the safeties, but threw it in some traffic that time. Incomplete pass. 3rd and about 6.
Again, that was Darrison Hooper. I would make sure to account for number 18.
Yes, every time. Crusaders have to get to the 41-yard line to pick up a first down. To the 41. Well, Currid, he's good. Currid rolls out far side. Low pressure by the Red Raiders. Throws on the run and incomplete. Good pressure that time. Got in the backfield. Made him throw while he was moving backwards. Couldn't quite get it to where he needed to get it in the few punts tonight that we've seen.
Quincy White with some pressure up front, and then Damani White made him go backwards, and he just couldn't put enough on that football to have a completion.
Stepinac has turned it over 2 times so far tonight. 1 fumble, 1 interception. I think this is punt number 1. See clock stop, 10:09 to play second quarter. Baylor up by a touchdown. Snap is good. Not much of a rush. It's that kickoff, and lucky for the Red Raiders, that does not take a big roll, and so Baylor begins somewhere right around the 30-yard line. So a good defensive stand by Baylor that time, a 1-2-3 and out. So the Red Raiders offense will take it. Yeah. Got some pressure on the quarterback that time, but again, things have been moving so quick, it's hard to pressure anyone. Haven't had a lot of movement between the tackles, not a lot of gain right there either way. Kind of hit the edges a lot tonight, and I would say both these teams have some speedsters that makes that an effective play. Baylor back on offense, leading it by a touchdown, 20-13, early in the second quarter. We have the benefit of a great-looking sunset. Muschamp, nicely done. Steps up in the pocket. Sets, throws slightly in back of the intended receiver in the middle of the field. Trying to hit Amari Jefferson. And again, give Muschamp some credit. Avoided the pressure. Sidestepped one. Got his feet set. Didn't throw it on the run. Just threw it a half a step in back of Amari Jefferson. Incomplete pass. So 2nd down and 10. I would say, so far, both these quarterbacks have lived up to billing.
Absolutely.
Both have made pretty good decisions most of the time. Muschamp goes at far side. Jefferson makes the reception. Little bit of a gain, 4, maybe 5 yards, depending on the spot.
Basically the same play that the Crusaders have run. Single coverage, top of that, just to the near sideline. A quick read, get rid of the ball quickly, and a completion.
And a flag down.
Ineligible receiver downfield. Offense, number 17 was covered up. 5-yard penalty still. 2nd down.
Usually when you have an ineligible, it's a big offensive line.
Down the field.
It's not Cam Sparks. 2nd time that Baylor's been flagged for that tonight. One time it cost him a nice game. So move it back to the 25-yard line. It's Champ again, sidesteps, far sideline. Amari just a drop.
Kind of the game within the game. Crusaders defensive line makes a late shift to their right. Whit Muschamp goes to his left, to his right. The defense's left, but just could not complete the pass.
I think that's one of those Amari Jefferson's going to catch the vast majority of the time. Sparks and LeBlanc, the 2 receivers left side on 3rd and 15. So work to do. I think they're going to send some pressure. Yes, linebacker. No one. I saw him from here. And he just went right at the quarterback. Tom Cottrell, the 6'1", 200-pound senior, strong side linebacker. Just no one picked him up. in a blitzing situation, they sent the linebacker, got to the quarterback, and dropped him.
He's done that at least twice tonight. One thing about Tommy, when he 2 steps, he's at full speed.
And that was no one got in his path. That's one of those that sometimes Muschamp will say, hey, you got to check right here.
Great defensive call that
Sure
time
was.
by the Crusader staff.
Rugby style, takes the hop around the 40. Look at that change of direction right there. Once, twice. A little shiftiness right there, and he brings it up in Baylor territory at about the 44-yard line.
There are some athletes on
Yes,
the field tonight.
yes.
That's Deontay Douglas.
I was just thinking that exact same thing. To the 44-yard line. Baylor leads it by a touchdown. 8:52. Second quarter moving a little bit quicker than the first. Feel like we've settled in after the first quarter highlight reel. We're tied 13-13 at the end of the quarter, the only scoring in the second quarter by the Red Raiders. But with 8:52 to play until halftime, Stepinac, Archbishop Stepinac, out of White Plains, New York, with the possession. 3 receivers top of the screen, 1 receiver on the bottom. Keurig, giving ground, giving round. Pass is caught, but I think that pass is caught for a loss of 1.
Late shift by the Baylor defense right at the snap of the football. They read that screen, covered it completely. Keurig could not go to his first option, and by the time he tried to locate the second option, the defense was barreling down on him.
I'm going to date myself a little bit. That almost looked like
There
a
is
Fran
no foul for ineligible
Tarkenton
downfield.
or Peyton
The forward
or
pass did not
Archie
cross the
Manning.
line of scrimmage.
I saw Tarkenton do that a few times where you give ground, and a lot of times bad things happen. That was a completed pass for a loss of about 1.5 yards. Running room. Taken on by the linebacker, but again, pads were low.
That is, again, number 26, Lorenzo Robinson, with a solid carry for the Crusaders.
He ran into the linebacker, but carried him a little bit. Joel Lowenberg was the linebacker, but Robinson was low. So he picked up a few more yards and brings it down to the 40-yard line. It's going to be 3rd down, about 6. Now Baylor shows blitz, then backs off. 3-man front right now for the Red Raiders. Stepinac directing traffic right there, sending his running back, and then flaring it out to him.
Boy, great execution. 2 receivers went deep. They brought Lorenzo Robinson underneath.
But you saw Will Keurig moved him to that spot.
He did.
And I was going to say, what a heady quarterback call that time. Moved the running back to where he wanted it. Then said, I'm going to float it out to you. You make 1 miss and we'll get a 1st down. That's exactly what happened. Pretty impressive by the Crusader quarterback that time. And the running back, Lorenzo Robinson, who made the catch and picked up the Crusader 1st down. 1st down and 10. Crusaders have it at the Red Raiders 30-yard line. Robinson rewarded with the carry this time. Picks up 5. Picks up good yards. Cutting it across the near sideline. Showing some quickness that time. And a little good sportsmanship both ways that time as well.
5'10", 200 for Lorenzo Robinson. He runs a little stouter than that.
I agree with that. But it's another 1st down. Down to the 15-yard line. It's a 15-yard pickup. Keurig to keep. You know what? Bad idea.
Maybe the one bad decision he's made tonight. Tried to go to his left, but that was closed on quickly.
By Quincy White.
By big Quincy White.
Don't mess with the White brothers now.
You better account for number 0.
He accounted for him.
At that nose guard spot.
2nd down and 13.
Again, negative yards on 1st down. 2nd and 13 back at the 18-yard line. Loss of 3. Robinson brothers. Should say the White brothers on that defensive line. Throwing the screen in the middle of the pack, and pretty good tackle that time.
So that was a version of the play they ran earlier on 3rd and 6. They put the Robinson motion to the top of your screen, top of the field, and brought the receiver underneath to the right side.
Ran into Lowenberg that time, the linebacker, who made sure he did not get past him. Big play in this game, 3rd down and 10 yards to go. Really more than 10. Still in back of the stick right now in a 3rd down play. So 3rd about 10 and a half. Archbishop Stepinac out of White Plains, New York. Will Curran throws that one and incomplete.
Wow.
He tried to
thread that in there.
I was going to say a tight window. He tried to use a little arm strength that just threaded in there, as you said. And
got rid of the football quickly.
Yes, he did.
It looked almost like Baylor had 2 or 3 hands that had a shot at deflecting it.
Yeah, that's
Somebody may have gotten a piece of that one.
That's one of those you have to find a lane if you're a quarterback. Where are you going to throw it where it's not going to come right back in your face? They're kind of in no man's land and may just go for it right here. Robinson, the running back, on his left. Kira, the quarterback, throws the screen. Pass complete. Gets past one, but will not pick up the 1st down.
Boy, they wanted that screen to Lorenzo Robinson. They had it almost completely set up. He's frustrated. Too much penetration by Baylor, blew the play up, and solid open field tackling.
I think Rendesi is the linebacker that got to him right there and just wouldn't let him go. Say, you know what? This play's over right here. Little bend but don't break by the Baylor defense. They hold on downs and take over on the 10-yard line. Interesting possession chart for the Crusaders. So they punted, they fumbled, they've had one intercepted, now they give one up on downs. And yet, it's a one-score football
one-possession game. Yep.
You're down 2 turnovers, and when turnover on downs, it's almost like a turnover. 1st and 10, Red Raiders. I'm guessing right now that Baylor wouldn't mind to use a whole bunch of clock right now. Got 90 yards to go, so you got 5.5 minutes to go in the 1st half. Yeah, you're not seeing a lot of hurry up right there, are you?
No. But it has been a long 1st half. They've been on the field an hour and 9 minutes.
Dropping back.
Boy, wanted that back shoulder fade that time to Zane Rastelli. Just a little too much heat on that one.
Yeah, I don't know if he couldn't adjust and come back because he saw the defensive back was kind of over the top, so he wanted to go shorter. But again, to get a receiver to stop like that and come back, that's pretty tough. Pretty tough timing all the way around.
All of a sudden now 3rd down.
Yeah, quick 3rd down.
And 11.
Throwing from his own end zone. Underneath, pass complete to Sparks, and Sparks gets back to the line of scrimmage, but not much more. Interesting night so far tonight in the fact that once you think a team, boy, this team has momentum. They've got it figured out. They're going to get on the roll, and then the other team, the other sideline, makes an adjustment or two. That's what's great, in my opinion, about football in general. You see okay, this is working. Going long is working. Okay, we're going to do this. They make an adjustment. You have to adjust as well. That's the chess match is a lot of fun.
I think, Jim, both these staffs have made very effective adjustments throughout the
2
game.
2 or 3 times. In just general philosophy and what's going to work. Okay, they're going to do this. Let's run it. Let's overload this side. Let's power this side. Kicking from his own end zone. Pretty good boom right there to midfield. Burst of speed once again. Boy,
look at this.
He may do this. Look at this. Running room.
Oh, my gosh.
Cutting it back and missing
gosh.
the tackle, and a punt return and a touchdown return in the same game for the Crusaders. How often does that happen? Deontay Douglas, the strong safety. But there is a flag. Let's see what happens and see if that's a 50-yard punt return for his score.
During the return, personal foul, illegal blindside block, return team number 6, 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul, 1st down.
Biggest penalty of the game, Jim.
Yeah, there have been a few big penalties. That's one of the biggest ones. Would have had a 55-yard punt return. And the Crusaders already have a 99-yard kickoff return. But that one coming back on the blind side block. Wow. Both coaches will be playing what if after this game, right?
Yes, and Deontay Douglas ran through a host of
yes, he did.
Baylor defenders to get into the end zone.
How many times was he stopped, do you think? About 4?
About 4.
15-yard penalty from the point of the blindside block. Carries it back to Crusader territory.
So move it all the way back to the 47. And the Crusaders begin this drive with 3:55 to play in the first half. Will Keurig, far sideline. Boy, they've done a good job in freeing up people one-on-one as well.
They really have. And Jahai Gary with an outstanding downfield block that time that set the table for that gain.
He's the one you and I talked about. He's just dangerous. That's
impressive.
That's a tough cover right there. That's a tough matchup.
And boy, when you have a receiver that good blocking downfield that well,
second down and about 2.
Says a lot.
8-yard pickup on first down. Handoff trying to go wide once again. Picks up the first down inside the 40 at around the 39-yard line. Jordan Osborne came up hobbling earlier and hobbled again right here. Got back in the game after an injury early on, but back down. I didn't think you'd get back in the game after injury number 1 the way he looked, but
yeah, he took a shot and lost the handle on the football early in the first quarter. Looks like that ankle is a little nicked up on this play.
But he did get the first down. But hobbles off, like we said. They used 2 running backs. That was the game plan every game, to use both Osborne and Robinson. And I don't see much of a drop-off in talent when you go from A to B, do you?
No.
First and 10. Oof. Not an easy pass.
How about that defensive play by TJ Fields?
Yeah.
Refused to be blocked, spun out, got in the mix, and almost deflected the football. It has not been an easy night for TJ Fields or Joshua Hampton.
No.
They have been up to the challenge.
That's actually a completed pass for a loss of about a half yard. They were at the 39, or just inside the 39, now at the 40. So it's second down and plus 10. Currid, far sideline. The receiver, one of the receivers had gone down for Stepinac, and then the pass overthrown.
Nice discipline by the Baylor defensive line. Didn't chase, just forced their man upfield back into the quarterback.
That's with a lot of quarterback, you lose contain, you lose everything. So many defensive coaches say just don't lose contain. Flush him into where the traffic is.
They had him surrounded really well that night. Will Currid knew he had to get rid of the football a little quicker than he wanted to.
I agree. Big third down and 10 right here with 3 minutes to play in the first half. From the gun, Keurig, time, far sideline. You know, you have to have some arm strength to throw that pass, and he's thrown it consistently. That one incomplete, but again, number 1 man, Jahai Gary. He was open for a second.
He was open for a second, but he couldn't get out of his cut in time to spin and come back for that football.
Exactly.
I think Will felt the heat a little bit on those last 2 plays, especially the play before this, but he had a little more time on that one than I think he realized.
Grady Joyner is back to receive for Baylor.
So another punt. And Baylor should get another possession before the end of the first half. Snap is good. Just trying to keep it high, get some hang time. Fair catch made on around the 16 or 17 yard line.
Good hands by Grady Joyner and an outstanding high kick that time for placement.
That's exactly what they wanted to do. Stepinac tonight, interesting flow chart. First possession, touchdown. Second possession, fumble. Third possession, was the kickoff return, then an interception, then a punt, then on downs, and then another punt. So they've had the smorgasbord tonight. 2:51 to play first half. Red Raiders by a touchdown. We've had a lot of those tonight
sure
as well.
Have.
Yeah.
Penalty stops play.
Prior to the snap, encroachment, offense, 74-11, lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Max LeBlanc and Grayson McGowan called for that, lining up in the neutral zone.
5-yard penalty makes it
Can't
first
do
and
that.
15 for Baylor.
So the Red Raiders actually begin this drive 5 yards in back of the stick. Going about on their own 13-yard line. Little running room that time, going wide, cutting it back in. Nice run. Nice productive run on a 1st and 15.
Heck of a good body lean that time by Cody Davenport. You got the penalty yardage back and then some.
Sometimes you and I get so impressed by that speed, but other times you see Davenport that time waited for a block. Sometimes I've seen guys run past their blockers. What's the point in that? Let them take the contact. That time I'm thinking did a nice job of playing off his blockers and waiting for that.
Oh my goodness.
Cam Sparks trying to adjust. It was slightly underthrown, but you saw the pressure on Muschamp.
Serious pressure. Witt felt some serious heat and needed about a half second more to keep his feet under him. But boy, that's a pass that Cam should have had.
Tried to adjust, a little bit thrown in back of him, and again,
I don't think he was quite out of his break, Jim.
I agree. So it'll be third down. Third down about 4.5, 5 yards. Near side, Jefferson gets the completion. Nice stop. How about that?
Wow.
And finish it off. He stuck the landing, right, for a first down.
Man, the stutter step there to go back inbounds was outstanding.
Sir, your protective undergarment is sitting at the 35-yard line.
I mean, as you're a defender, you just got to live the fight. You got to have some selective amnesia.
No question. From the 46-yard line. Going with a reverse, giving some ground. Sparks trying to turn the corner. 50 inside the 45. That's right at the stick. And just where that's right at the stick. He might have gotten just enough for a first down. So teams over pursue. What do? You run some misdirection.
Let's watch this. Muschamp kind of gives it away with an early block attempt there, and boy, they sold it pretty decently. He's right at they're going to call that a first down.
Sparks did a whole lot of that on his own now. I'm going to give him the 44-yard line. 1st and 10. Plenty of time with 1:53 to play in the first half. Muschamp with Davenport standing next to him. Drop straight back, throwing the fade up in the air, and that's got to be a flag. Got to be a flag.
Oh, wow.
I believe Mr. Kimry and Jim Reynolds and Craig Cecil agree. There was contact, easily contact, while the ball was in the air.
I think a couple of folks there are voicing their interpretation.
I mean, I don't like to officiate, but that there was contact there with the ball in the air and fairly obvious to most of those not wearing stripes. Handoff, Davenport breaks a tackle up the middle, breaks another, spins away at the 20, at the 19-yard line. How about that after a little adversity? Going right up the middle. So you go fade near sideline, outside shoulder. That doesn't work. You go right up the gut between the tackles and pick up yardage inside the 20.
Watch the run here. Gets loose, stays on his feet, takes a shot here, and a nice spin to avoid contact. Solid run by number 24, Cody Davenport.
In the open field. Showed some moves right there. First down and 10. At about the 17 or 18-yard line. 18. Muschamp puts it up in the air once again. Boy, I thought there was contact again.
I think the interpretation there by the official is that ball was not catchable.
That could be. Because it was thrown long, and again, when you have those athletes and you have the faith that you have, you say, you know what? Amari's going to outrun that guy. So he put it up in the air, which is a good move, where only his guy could get it. Threw it long. Tried to let Amari Jefferson use his speed. 2nd and 10. There's Cam Sparks. Slid down to about the 15-yard line, so gains a couple. But it's 3rd down. So it's 3rd down, and let's call it 7. Have to get to the 9 to pick up a 1st down. He's at the 16.
To the left of your screen, we'll have Amari Jefferson versus Sam Madu, senior defensive back of the Crusaders. And
boy, if you get to watch some of those matchups, if you really, take your eye off the football sometime and watch
Baylor.
some of those matchups, it's a bunch
Third
of
and
fun.
final timeout of the first half.
So, Jim, with 38 seconds to go now, Baylor is out of timeouts. On a 3rd down and 8.
So I would say this. If you go middle of the field, you got to throw it to the end zone, right? You can go middle of the field, end zone, or you can go and try and pick up the 1st down on the sidelines. That's one of those if you're short, and one of the things I'm sure he's saying, kicking team, get ready. We may have to sprint you
Absolutely.
on the field, or they may be calling 2 plays in the huddle right here if they don't get it and still want another opportunity. 38 seconds, even if it's incomplete, you should be able to get off another play. So either you're going to have that
but it's
special
3rd down, so you better make it. You're either complete 1st down or kick.
But again, you work on this. Most teams do it at the end of practice when they're tired. They simply call it situations. This situation, all right, we're taking over with 1:51 left with 2 timeouts or whatever. And they work on these types of things. Some people specialize in it one particular day of the week to use the special teams. Other teams end their practice almost every day with quote-unquote situations. 38 seconds to play in the half. 3rd down. Muschamp, fade again, up in the air, Sparks. It's out of the end zone.
Almost picked off for a minute there.
I think he caught it, but out of the end zone.
Damon Smith had nice position there, the senior defensive back.
That's one thing I'll say about both these teams tonight. They're not out of position. Sometimes they get beat on a play and lose out to the athletic ability of the other guy, but you can tell these are well-coached football teams.
Absolutely.
Here's the weapon I would use. Cooper Cowan. That's a chip shot. He had a 46-yarder earlier. Kick on the way. Kick for the Red Raiders is good. Craig, how many times have we seen high school football teams that don't have any kicking game? What's it got to be for Eric Kimry and company to say, we have confidence in this guy, kicked a 46-yarder, now kicks a, 33-yarder? When you have confidence in that kicking game, you just kind of, when you get inside the 20, you just think, we're going to get points. Somehow we're going to get points.
Well, Jim, we've seen teams we've covered and broadcast failed to compete for a state championship because they did not have a consistent kicking game.
Or teams that would go for 2-point conversions almost all the time
Yes.
for that very reason. Pretty good use of the clock by the Red Raiders that time as they score right before the end of the first half and take a 10-point lead, 23-13. Baylor actually trailed in this game momentarily.
Back to receive, Troy Worrell.
They were down 13-10, tied the game at 13, took a 20-13 lead, now 23-13. Cowan with an end-over-end kick, fielded, almost went down. Did he go down? Yes,
down.
He did go down.
Boy, that is a great kick. Great placement.
Went down on the knee at the 12-yard line.
And again, Jim, even on the kick that the Crusaders ran back for a touchdown, it took a great effort to just retrieve that ball at the 1-yard line and stay in bounds.
12-yard line where it will be 1st and 10 for the Crusaders.
So if you're the Crusaders and you know that Baylor doesn't have another timeout, I'm not sure you necessarily just take a knee, but I would expect something pretty vanilla right here.
Quite conservative.
Yes.
Take a break and get to the half and kind of reload. Almost an hour and a half on the football field for the first half.
Archbishop Stepinac will take a knee on that snap.
Just taking a knee and letting the first half come to an end, knowing that Baylor doesn't have a timeout. So
the score at the end of one half of play.
We'll see the clock tick down for the end of the first half. A lot of action, especially in the first quarter. We were tied 13-13 at the end of the quarter. And then Baylor outscores Archbishop Stepinac 10-0 in the second quarter, and they own a 23-13 lead at halftime. We're going to enjoy the halftime festivities in just a moment. Baylor scored first. Cam Sparks on a 57-yard run on Baylor's first possession of the game. Baylor scores on a 70-yard drive, 3 plays, 57-yard touchdown run by Cam Sparks. That made it 7-0 Red Raiders on top. Stepinac comes back with a 7-yard touchdown run at the 9:37 mark. They go for 2, don't get the 2-point conversion, so Baylor stays on top 7-6. Cowan with the aforementioned 46-yard field goal. That occurred first quarter, 4:56 to play. Baylor goes on top by a 10-6 score. Baylor kicks it off, and Troy Worrell returns it 99 yards for a touchdown. Archbishop Stepinac goes on top, 13-10. Baylor comes back. Cowan ties the game with 1:01 to play in the first quarter. Cooper Cowan with a 22-yard field goal. That ties the game at 13-13. Early in the second quarter at the 10:59 mark, Baylor caps a 62-yard drive, 62 yards in 6 plays. Muschamp goes to LeBlanc for a 2-yard touchdown pass. That makes it 19-13. Extra point makes it 20-13. And then the field goal you saw just a second ago. With 27 seconds to play in the first half, Cooper Cowan with a 33-yard field goal. Baylor outscores Stepinac by 10 in the second quarter. 10 unanswered for the Red Raiders in quarter number 2, and they lead by 10 at halftime. It's Baylor 23, Archbishop Stepinac from White Plains, New York, 13. 23-13. Archbishop Stepinac, the number 1 ranked team in the state of New York, and Baylor will play a number 1 ranked team in the state of Tennessee. That will be next week when they take on Lipscomb right here. That should be a great game. If you can't make it to the game, and Baylor would love to have you here for the tailgating, for the Tiger Walk, and everything else. If you can't be here for that game next week between Lipscomb and Baylor, the number 1 team in the state, and right now Baylor ranked number 3 in the state. Number 1 versus number 3 next week right here, and we will have the broadcast on the stream. So join us for Baylor Game Day starting at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. We're at halftime with Baylor leading by 10. Now enjoy the halftime festivities here at Haywood Stadium. We're at halftime at Baylor as the Red Raiders and the Crusaders scoring off here. Pretty entertaining game in the first half. Baylor trailed in the contest and then scored 13 unanswered and own a 10-point lead at halftime. There you see the scoreboard, 23-13. And Craig, we definitely had our share of big plays in the first half.
Big plays on both ends of the field, special teams, fumbles, recoveries, just a wide open, especially the first quarter. Things settled down quite a bit in the second quarter, but boy, both these teams very physical, great athletes all over the field.
And you and I talked about the adjustments that both have made. Baylor with that receiving core that thought they could go long early. They went short, they went long, and got that passing game going a little bit. Running game has been complimentary. I think that happened last week when the Red Raiders were in Dublin and played Seton Hall Prep. Again, very balanced a week ago in the number of plays that they ran on the ground and in the air. 31 rushing plays, 30 passing plays last week. I think that balance has greatly helped them tonight. And I think we have to give Cody Davenport, not a receiver, but a running back, he's had a pretty good night so far tonight.
They've been solid in the run game, and the only thing that has kind of broken the thing open was special teams. Boy, that 99-yard kick return by Troy Worrell really woke up the Crusaders and got them back into this thing. But it's been, both teams have made some plays they regretted. Both teams have taken advantage of adjustments, and this should be a fantastic second half.
It certainly gets the Red Raiders prepared for that challenge they have next week when they host Lipscomb right here. I'm already looking forward to that game. That'll be a pretty good contest. Lipscomb nationally ranked 19th, I think, in the country, #1 in the state of Tennessee. I saw them win a state championship a couple of years ago at Finley Stadium. They've gotten better and better and better. It's interesting, of those Nashville private schools, Ensworth steps up there for a while. Then Brentwood Academy steps up there a while. Then Montgomery Bell Academy steps up there for a while. And now the team to beat, now the team right now is Lipscomb, the #1 team in the state of Tennessee. So we'll see them next week right here in Chattanooga. And we'll have the stream right here starting with Baylor game day at 7 o'clock.
I think, Jim, when you face a team like this that has great athletes in different positions on the field, you have to do a couple things. Tackle well in the open field, pressure the quarterback. We have seen great things from the Baylor defensive back, so this is a fantastic test for the Red Raiders.
So they'll get ready next week. We're going to add a couple minutes right here until the second half gets underway. 23-13, Red Raiders with a 10-point advantage at halftime. After they trailed, Baylor scored on their first possession of the game. Cam Sparks on a 57-yard run on possession #1, play #3. Red Raiders on the board at the 11:22 mark. They had a 7-0 lead. Then Archbishop Stepinac scored a touchdown at the 9:07 mark, capping an 80-yard drive with Darrison Hooper's 7-yard touchdown run.
We're having a little bit of technical trouble with the score on the screen, so we haven't started. We'll keep you updated on the score verbally. We're having just a couple of technical issues with getting the score onto the stream, but Baylor leads it. We're still at halftime, 23-13.
23-13. This is how it occurred. Then Cooper Cowan, 46-yard field goal. That was in the first quarter with 4:56 to play in quarter #1. Baylor was on top 10-6. Then that kickoff return, one of the highlights for the Crusaders. Baylor scores on a 46-yard field goal. And so all the momentum on the red side. And then Stepinac has a return, 99-yard kickoff return by Troy Worrell. And, of course, that gives the Crusaders a 13-10 lead. So Baylor had a quick 10-6 advantage. Kickoff return, 99-yard return, 13-10. Crusaders go on top. Cooper Cowan kicks another field goal that ties the game late in the first quarter, tied at 13-13. That was the start of the unanswered points for the Red Raiders. Cowan's 22-yard field goal, followed up by a Whit Muschamp to Max LeBlanc 2-yard touchdown pass. That made it 20-13. And right at the end of the first half, 27 seconds to play in half #1, Cooper Cowan with a 33-yard field goal. That makes it 23-13. 23-13, Baylor by 10 at the intermission. 13 unanswered by the Red Raiders. right at the end of the first half. So Baylor was actually down 13-10, 13 unanswered, and they lead it by 10. 23-13 the score at the intermission.
Jim, it's been a solid first half for the Baylor defense for the most part. And let's credit two defensive backs, Joshua Hampton with an interception and TJ Fields. They have been on an island at times, and they have been up to the challenge.
We talk about guys, no conscience, and forget in a hurry. A lot of the cornerbacks tonight, both sides have found themselves with one-on-one coverage, and most of the time it's been a pretty good job. And I would say the receiving cores of both teams have been pretty darn impressive tonight. But the cornerbacks, I would say for the most part, those defensive backs have done a pretty good job of holding their own.
The beginning of the game and elected to receive the opening kickoff. So we will open up the second half with Baylor kicking off to Archbishop Stepinac.
Stepinac will have the possession to start the second half. Baylor won the toss, took the football, and scored on their first possession.
Cooper Cowan has done a couple of nice things on kickoffs tonight. He's gone short. He's gone to the boundary.
Well, when they kicked it long, it was returned 99 yards. So
True.
We talk about making adjustments. That was one of the adjustments. Don't let the speedster catch it. Let some of those slower guys catch it. So we're about to get the second half underway, and again, it's Baylor and Lipscomb next week. Right now, Baylor number 3 in the state, and right now Lipscomb number 1 in the state of Tennessee, and nationally ranked as well. End-over-end kick again. A little bit of a sky kick, taking around the 15. Look at that speed. Across the 30 and up to about the 32-yard line.
It's Darrison Hooper.
I think he's a keeper.
Before being brought down by
So 1st and 10, second half underway. Crusaders begin at the 32-yard line. Will Currid, 6'2", 188 senior quarterback. Threw for almost 3,300 yards and 28 touchdowns a year ago. Think about that, 28 touchdowns. That's about 2.5, 3 touchdowns per game.
And Jim, really hard to sack because he gets rid of the football quickly.
Great release. Sending Robinson flaring him out. Currid on the run that time, almost going down. Completes it to the 35, given ground, and back to about the 35 or 36-yard line. So the pass was complete, and Currid that time kind of threw it on the way down. Pretty good contained by the Red Raiders. They'll give him the, 36-yard line.
Tackled by Damani White and others. Gain of about 4, 2nd and 6.
So Lorenzo Robinson, the running back who gets the call, tries to go wide, stops, starts, breaks a tackle, and goes forward.
Just what a great effort.
I was going to say, once you stop, I always say this, as a running back, once you stop, your chances of making a big play or a decent gain really end. You lose your momentum, and look what he did. He just accelerated again, broke 2 tackles, and picked up a first down. What a nice run.
Great vision and great body lean,
Yeah.
always moving forward.
Ball now spotted at the 42.
1st and 10 Crusaders. Baylor leading it by 10, just underway third quarter. Sending the linebacker, but flaring it out near side. And again, making the first man miss. And getting down the near sideline.
And that's number 18, Darrison Hooper.
Getting a little chippy out there. I'm hearing those words. Picks up another first down. Said he stepped out of bounds around the 46-yard line. So he goes from his own 42 to the Baylor 46, and another first down for the Crusaders. Made some adjustments or two, looking at those wristbands, coming back to the huddle. Two receivers left, 2 receivers right. Currid with time. Guns it middle of the field, and that's picked.
Oh.
Almost picked.
Boy, what a great effort that time.
Quite brought it in. And that was a rope that time.
Thrown on a line. Tyler Rice broke on the ball in great position. That's just a tough play for defensive back or receiver to make. Jim, they had Lorenzo Robinson in the flat open there. He was, I guess, the safety valve.
Got a little greedy that time, maybe. Probably had a shirt. Send it to linebacker once again. Robinson gets the handoff. Breaks another tackle. Baylor gambling a little bit more defensively, don't you think, on this series?
Blitzing a little bit.
Yeah.
And what Lorenzo Robinson is able to do is beat the first wave. They're going upfield.
Yes.
And he beats the first wave and turns it into positive yardage. We have a player down for the Crusaders.
DJ Williams is shaken up on the play for Stepinac.
That's the right tackle, 6'4", 285 junior DJ Williams. Both these offensive lines, I think, have done pretty well. Seen different coverages, sending linebackers. Baylor doing it a little bit more liberally here in this opening possession.
And you know, Jim, what's hard for linemen is you're run blocking, you're pass blocking. You're run blocking, you're pass blocking. You're throwing deep, you're throwing short. I mean, it is, they can't really take a play off. It's not like you run 6 out of 8 plays and you kind of know what you're doing.
DJ Williams trots off.
A lot of versatility.
Williams comes off the field under his own power, jogs it off, so it looks like at some point he'll return after the medical timeout. He'll sit down for at least a play, and I think watching him on the sideline, not even going to the training staff, so I'm guessing he'll be back in the game relatively soon as we face a big 3rd down and 4 at the 40-yard line. Baylor has scored 13 unanswered points, and the Crusaders trying to end that. Kira, the quarterback for the Crusaders, looks over at the sideline, bobbles it for a second, gives some ground, has all day. What am I going to do? Just goes out of bounds. That was one of those. They have sent linebackers. This time they put him in coverage, and Kira kept looking over the field. Didn't have a big rush on him, but couldn't find an available receiver. Just had to eat it.
Great coverage.
Yeah, great coverage.
And to your point, Jim, now they're kind of in no man's land.
4th down.
Still about 5 yards to go.
Do you kick? Apparently they're going to punt.
Marco Grassi is in to punt for the Crusaders.
So I guess you say your philosophy is I'm going to pin them deep.
It's early.
If you don't get them inside, the 5 or the 7 or something like that. I don't know. Look for a short snap. I don't think Baylor looks like they're too fooled if the gimmick does occur. Short hop on the snap. High kick. Fair catch called for and made around the 14. So, little change of field position, but pretty good job.
Let's credit 25 Tyler Rice. Made the fair catch in traffic. That's not easy.
Oh, I guarantee.
Baylor will have it 1st and 10.
But, surrounded by your peers. First possession, second half for the Red Raiders. You're not seeing the scoreboard bug. So 9:49 to play third quarter. Baylor 23. Stepinac 13. 23-13. Baylor by 10. First possession, Red Raiders, third quarter. Muschamp hands it off to Cam Sparks. He goes wide. Boy, Cam Sparks can use that speed.
Solid run out of the pistol formation that time. Zane Rastelli a little nicked up.
And one of the Crusaders losing a helmet.
Seen that more than once for the Crusaders tonight.
Gain of about 8 yards on the play. Call it 2nd down and 2.
Just love this. Different pistol look than we've seen all night.
Sparks again, though. He was a step or two away because he had outrun most of the pack. Was ready to turn the corner, then got clogged up a little bit, but does get the first down across the 30. I think they're putting him at the 31-yard line. So Baylor begins his drive at the 15. Couple plays later at the 31 with a 1st and 10, leading by 10. Early third quarter. Muschamp, nice play action. He'll keep himself. And look at that. Whit Muschamp saunters out of bounds. I think he fooled everyone. 2 times tonight, Muschamp has kind of called his own number.
That looks like a quarterback who's done some film work, saw a formation that he liked, and took advantage of the defense that time.
Again, you got to pay attention to me every so often. Muschamp pulled it back, called his own number, and got another first down for the Red Raiders. LeBlanc moves in motion. Muschamp steps up this time, throws it long, and there's Jefferson. Can't quite get it, but that was really good coverage. You talk about 12, 2 pretty good athletes going after each other, right?
Let's give Sam Madu credit. He came at just the last second, saw the ball trying to be located, and made a great break on it.
So on first down, Muschamp and company try to go long, take advantage of that. Almost got it. I think you throw that you keep going to Amari Jefferson time after time. I think he'll strike one of those a couple of times this year. One receiver left to right. Handoff, middle of the pack. He didn't know whether to turn it in or go wide. Saw that little crease inside, said, you know what? I'm going to take the yardage that I can get and pick up a manageable third down situation.
That's a solid gain, though, Jim, on first down. 6 yards brings up, second down. That brings up a 3rd and 4.
I was going to say, you could go wide and kind of gamble on that last play. I thought he took the solid decision and said, you know what? We might have 2 downs now to pick up these 4 yards. Running up the middle once again. Running room up the gut that time and give the first down to Shakai Mills-Knight.
I think the Red Raiders decided at halftime they are going to do some work on the ground, and it's been very effective so far in this quarter.
It's been good for him. Now if you watch Stepinac adjust, try to take away that run, enter Sparks and Jefferson and company. Another first down. 8 minutes exactly to play third quarter. Muschamp swings it out, pass complete far side. Sparks with a reception. Brought down around the 22-yard line on the far sideline.
Mari Jefferson, number 7, blocking that time, made a nice decision, released his block early, Jim, so there was no chance of getting called for holding. Got just enough of the defender to set the table.
Every coach I know gets excited when they see receivers block, right? And Amari Jefferson, he's a superstar. Alabama commit, but I think Mr. Saban will say, son, you're going to have to throw a block every so often. He did right there. Davenport back in the running back spot. Little high snap and a one-handed grab by Muschamp. Makes the best of it and goes right up the middle. How about Whit Muschamp on the ground tonight?
I don't know if that was intended for him.
I don't know either.
The high snap broke up the mesh point, and Whit Muschamp just took care of it himself and cleaned up, turned into positive yardage. Let's watch this. Yeah, the high snap. Jefferson was supposed to get that. Heads up to Whit Muschamp.
A Vanderbilt commit. Whit Muschamp. His father will be busy tomorrow. Take on my friend Jason Simpson, the head coach at UT Martin, Georgia Bulldogs. Going wide. Great pursuit. How about that?
Tommy Cottrell, we've called his name a couple of times tonight. 33 plays with a high motor. That's one of the few times on this drive, Jim, you've seen a Baylor running back have to go sideways first.
I'm not sure that linebacker is just physically intimidating, but goes hard, and again, got him right at the point that time, right when he was given some ground. Able to bring him down, and Red Raiders lose some yards. Good defensive play by the Crusaders that time. But you're right, when you're not able to turn it upfield, go north and south. Davenport, the running back, Muschamp to throw. Has some time, goes over the middle of the field, wide open for the touchdown. How about that? There's Amari Jefferson. You block on one play, I'll find you at the post the next.
Boy, that was easy. Defensive back lost his footing in the corner of the end zone, and Whit just kept his feet under him, waited. That's an easy completion for a touchdown.
It's impressive. 6:22 mark. Cowan will try the extra point on the 15-yard touchdown pass. Muschamp to Jefferson.
The kick is good, and it's Baylor 30, Archbishop Stepinac 13.
So it was, right, 13 unanswered, now 20 unanswered points. Baylor has gone from trailing by 3 to leading by 17. Red Raiders on top, 30-13. It's a pretty good turnaround right there.
And that was an impressive drive.
That drive was
most of it on the ground.
85 yards, 9 plays, and time of possession 3:27. And again, I just think they're mixing things up awfully well, keeping people off balance. When you can run, and they had both running backs, Cody Davenport and Shakai Mills-Knight, both of them were impressive in that drive. Muschamp made 2 or 3 good plays.
Great
and
decisions.
I was going to say great decisions.
Ad-libs. And came out in the pistol look, Jim, for the first time, I think, tonight in that most of that series.
That's a good series for the Red Raiders. 6:22 to play third quarter, 30-13. They got it. Baylor's got it. How about that, going for the jugular right there?
Well, it was a pooch kick a couple of weeks ago into Rayburn Gap that kind of broke things open in the second half, and boy, Baylor executes this one perfectly. That's something, Jim, they saw on tape, maybe from last year. They got the look that they liked, and getting the look is one thing, executing is another.
At the 48-yard line, back-to-back possessions on a turnover, an onside kick that works. Following the touchdown. Boy, I would throw it long right here and just go for the jugular. Let's see if they do. From the 48-yard line, Muschamp drops back in some trouble, throws it long,
serious trouble,
but hit right as he throws. He did not see that backside pursuit that time, and right when he put it up in the air, he was hit. That's why it fluttered to the ground, but they were going long looking for Cam Sparks, and Sparks actually had some separation there.
Boy, Morgan Howell Brown of the Crusaders, the senior, came barreling in that time and really blew that play up because they had the situation they wanted. They had Cam Sparks open, but he got just enough of the football.
30-13, Baylor on top, 6:10 to play third quarter. Handoff, stutter step, running room. Look at that. Make that pile move. Inside the 40 to the 38-yard line. That may be enough for a first down. And that's 8 or 9, maybe 10 yards in traffic. And he just moved that pile a little bit. Keep the legs churning. Not quite enough, apparently, for a first down. So it's third down and 1. Go to it again. Davenport get past the gap and brings it down to the 30, converting on that third down and a yard to go.
Cody Davenport has done a great job tonight, Jim, of just kind of wiggling in between the tackles and always moving forward with nice acceleration in traffic.
Entering this game, Baylor was 10 for 30 in third down conversions. That's pretty good, 33%. I think they've added to that total tonight. 1st and 10, Red Raiders inside the 30. Muschamp batted up in the air. I just feel
Lucky
like
that wasn't picked off.
With Muschamp, to me, looks like he is in so much control right now. He's smooth.
Yes.
They've had a little mistake. It's just water off a duck's back. They've had some high snaps. No big deal. You know, we've had people run into each other in the backfield a couple of times, those kind of things. It just looks to me that he is so smooth right now. It just looks like it's my world, and you kind of feel like the game has slowed down for him.
I was just going to say, yeah, he's really moving at a great pace mentally.
And they've come through when he's called numbers. 5-11.
Timeout. Baylor. First charge timeout of the second half.
I would say this is a quicker moving third quarter than the first quarter, which didn't take quite an hour. Yeah. We're not upset about that at all.
That's why I like the pistol so much, Jim. That formation usually signals running the football.
Next week it's Lipscomb right here, then at Christian Brothers, at home against Brentwood Academy, then McCallie, then the bye week on the 6th, Life Christian Academy on the 13th, then you go to Montgomery here at home against Montgomery Bell Academy in a little championship game rematch, and then Father Ryan on the 27th of October. That is a pretty good challenge every single week. So how do you try to win another state championship, go back-to-back? You play the best teams you can play. This is the top-seeded team in the Catholic League in New York. And again, talk about a heritage football team with a legendary coach. The head coach at Stepinac, Mike O'Donnell, he is a legend in White Plains area. Coach O.D., member of the Hall of Fame in the county, has been the head coach since 1988. Has been at the school a total of 41 years. Iconic status. Now, I know what that's about, Craig. You wouldn't know.
Of course you do. You're right. I watch from afar.
Nice run of the play for Baylor again. Positive yards on first and second down, doing some things. Putting some pressure on that Stepinac defense. You think 2 straight possessions. Stepinac's defense has been on the field. It's a cooler night than it was 2 weeks ago, but I'm sure there's still some perspiration out there.
Boy, you can tell that offensive line is starting to really feel it.
I agree with you. I think they're firing pretty well right now. I think they've had a pretty good night all night, but I just think they're starting to dominate. I think Stepinac, and you and I talked about this, the frontline players are big, but I think there's a drop-off from number 1 team for the Crusaders to number 2, and I mean a drop-off physically. And they may be about spent right now.
And let's keep in mind, this is their first game of the year.
That's right. Good point. Throwing in the end zone, not quite. Had a couple of chances to bring that one in, but Max LeBlanc couldn't quite do there. Had a chance off his hands. Had another opportunity going backwards. Couldn't quite bring it in, but a pretty good effort. Red Raiders not afraid to throw in that end zone, are they?
No.
Second down and 10 from about the 16-yard line. Clock stopped, as you can see, or maybe you can't. 4:07 to play in the third quarter. Muschamp spins away from one.
Mike Muschamp keeps, carries up the middle.
I think Baylor's done a really nice job of just keeping them honest so far tonight.
And they decided at halftime they were going to do some damage on the ground, and Whit Muschamp has made some fantastic
decisions. After the play, personal foul, blow to the head, offense number 58, 15-yard penalty, third down.
Well, I guess since you don't want to go all rainbows and unicorns, they do have to clean up some of those type of penalties, I would say.
Yes.
They've had a couple of weeks ago of those type of penalties where you just have to maintain some discipline sometime. I don't know if it was someone got upset at someone or some accidental or in the heat of battle or whatever, but Red Raiders have had a few of those penalties, and that's one of those things. When you get into a game against Lipscomb next week and McCallie and Montgomery Bell Academy, when you have those games coming up, that may be something that decides it or takes away a first down. When you
takes away a possession.
Yeah.
Yes.
So a couple of things, even in game number 3 of the season, a couple of things in game number 3 can be.
On the college level, Jim, what did we see last night? Florida has 2 guys wearing the same jersey. First down Utah, they go down and score. Totally different football game.
And you can have, by the way, 2 guys wearing the same jersey.
Not on the same.
They can't be on the field at the same time. Why someone didn't realize that, I do not know. Well, I didn't realize the injury situation going on right now.
That is Owen Rose, I think.
As we are praising the offensive line, 0-1 member of that offensive line, having a hard time putting weight. Walking a little bit better now, but Rose a little slow to the sideline. I'll give that O-line a heck of a lot of credit. I think they've had a really good night.
Especially here in the third quarter. They've taken control of this football game.
That's why the Baylor running game is better. They've protected Mr. Muschamp pretty well, I think. And given him time to find that members of that talented receiving corps. So after the penalty, move it back. It's third down.
About 21 yards to go.
Baylor has to get to the 6 to pick up a first down. Muschamp sets up the screen, has blockers in front of him. At the 15, leans his way.
Boy, so well set up that time.
It really
Jim.
was.
What a great call and outstanding execution.
I was going to say, when you see that wall of blockers in front of the guy that catches the screen pass.
And Witt waited and waited and waited,
Yeah.
sold it, and just delivered an easy catchable ball.
And that's one of those where defensive linemen go, uh-oh, I got in here too easy.
Well, it basically got you in field goal range.
Oh, no question.
But it looks like on 4th and 7, they're going to go.
They need to get down to the 5-yard line for the first, so 4th and 7.
Yeah. Muschamp with Davenport standing next to him. Let's see if he actually takes a snap in here. He does. In traffic, but that might have been the best thread the needle catch of the night. LeBlanc with the reception.
Man, Muschamp threw a dart. Max LeBlanc got in great position. And Jim, the ball was placed low. Either Max is going to get it or no one is.
Gambles on 4th down. And gets in the end zone, just barely.
Confident football team.
That was very close because LeBlanc was coming back out of the end zone when he caught it, so the timing was important. Going for it on 4th down and might have delivered the old knockout punch that time.
Archbishop Stepinac, 13.
So think about that whole possession of scoring the touchdown, onside kick, going for it on a 4th down. How about that? It's rolling the dice a little bit.
That's an aggressive, confident statement the coaching staff has made about this football team tonight.
I'll say that's a winner chicken dinner right there. 14 points in the 4th quarter, 14 unanswered. Hard to believe Baylor was down 13-10 at one point. So they've scored 27 unanswered. 27 unanswered. But that onside kick and then a 4th down conversion for a touchdown, that's a wow factor. 3:40 to play in the 3rd quarter. Now it's Baylor on top 37-13.
Kickoff for Baylor, deep to receive.
Muschamp to LeBlanc on the touchdown pass. 16 yards. Baylor goes 48 yards after the onside kick. Good coverage that time. That's one of the areas where Stepinac has really been done well tonight. That is in kickoff returns, punt returns, but not that time. Nelson McKnight. I don't want to run into him, I don't think.
They hemmed in Darrison Hooper very effectively that time. Well, if you're the Crusaders, you can't score more than 7 at a time.
But I think
you just got to put solid plays together.
I think they want to turn the momentum around a little bit first and foremost. This second half, Keurig rolls out near side, dumps it off, nope, throws it away on the run.
What a great job by Baylor. They snuffed out the screen that time. That was a middle screen intended there, and there was just nowhere for Will Currid to go. They ran Lorenzo Robinson to the far sideline, wanted to go back under to the screen, and it was just well covered by the Baylor defense.
Was it illegal?
There's a penalty on the play.
Downfield, maybe? Yep.
Ineligible receiver downfield. Offense. That penalty's declined. Second down.
Which, if that quarterback holds that football too long on a screen, that can easily happen.
Yeah, those guys drift downfield a little bit
drift
more.
too far down.
Yeah. This game really turned around. In the first quarter, really through, I would say, middle of the second quarter. But Baylor has dominated the second half of that second quarter, and they've dominated this third quarter as well. Currid throwing far sideline. Nice pass and catch. Wow. That's impressive.
That was a well-thrown football and a tough catch.
I think Troy Worrell can play. I've come to that conclusion. Very good. It's only they listen.
5'8" senior, 150 pounds.
Yeah, that's what I got as well, and I go, really?
I don't know. I might check that scale.
I think there's a
Baylor player shaken up on the Stepinac sideline.
Yeah, momentary injury timeout. From what they're doing, that looks like cramp to me. Looks like they're stretching out. Oh, you can't see. Looks like they're stretching him out more than anything else. So, like I've said many, many, many times before, that doesn't mean cramps don't hurt. See the Baylor letterman. .321 to play third quarter, 37-13. 37-13.
Tight game in the first half, but it's been a one-sided affair here in the third quarter.
So Cam Sparks has a 57-yard touchdown run. Cowan 46-yard field goal. Cowan 22-yard field goal. Muschamp to LeBlanc, one touchdown there. Cowan 33-yard field goal. Muschamp to Jefferson for a touchdown pass. Muschamp to LeBlanc with a touchdown pass. So Muschamp has thrown 3, is that right? Yes. 1 to LeBlanc. 1 to Jefferson. 2 to LeBlanc. So Max LeBlanc, a couple of touchdown receptions tonight from that tight end spot. And Amari Jefferson per normal. Touchdown catch, and Cam Sparks, per normal, got things off with a touchdown on Baylor's first possession of the night. They let him in
that
here?
Looks like Tyler Rice is going to make his way to the locker room.
Gotcha. So 3:21 to play third quarter. Baylor with a 37-13 lead, 37-13. So Red Raiders began the season here at home against Raven Gap and lost that contest. Then played in Dublin, Ireland last week, beating Seton Hall Prep handily and winning so far convincingly tonight. Currid, the quarterback, rolls it out, throws it on the run. Wow. You talk about a throw and catch with the quarterback throwing it on the run.
To his left, and Jahai Gray just went up, climbed the ladder, and brought it down.
That was impressive. The arm strength throwing on the run by Will Currid. I think I'd put that on every highlight reel I had. 37-13, clock running as we hit the 3-minute mark in the third quarter. As the Crusaders not only get in the red zone, but they get inside the 10-yard line. First and goal situation, first and goal from about the 8. Wow. Keurig throws it again, looking near side, and got it. Touchdown for the Crusaders. That's our favorite weapon, isn't it?
Jahai Gray.
Boy, he's good. I like him a lot.
Got to the corner, posted up, and got just enough position to reel that one in. Let's check this out. Yes. Got in front of the defensive back. There's just not much TJ Fields can do there.
No, your words are right.
6'5", 195, gets position. That's an easy catch, 1 foot in, touchdown.
When you say posted up, that's just like basketball.
Yes.
I had a height advantage. I'm posting up my guy. I'm going to let him guard my backside, and I'm going to use my frame to get an opportunity to make that catch. It's an 8-yard touchdown reception. Going for 2, and Keurig's going to keep and score. So that's what the Crusaders needed. They get 8 points on that possession. Break that long scoreless streak that they had.
Different complexion here, 37-21. Yeah, the Crusaders had to have that.
So that ends up being a 68-yard drive.
And both those passes, well, the second one, there's nothing the defender could do. But, boy, that one in traffic was well defended. He just went up and got it.
I think a bunch of teams are going to double-team Jahai Gray this season. What do you think?
I would.
Jahai Geary.
Honestly, too. And Darrison Hooper has made some big plays,
too.
Yes.
I agree. But Gary's such a mismatch. He's got some speed, got some heights. His hands look really good so far tonight. And as you mentioned a moment ago, he just knows how to use his body to put himself in great positions.
He's comfortable in traffic.
Yeah, absolutely. So Gary with the 8-yard touchdown reception, then Keurig with a 2-point conversion to make it 37-21. We see onside here or not? Yep. Well, line drive. Taken around the 19 by Amari Jefferson. Brings it across the 30 to about the 33 or 34-yard line.
By Andrew Waters.
Clock stopped, as you can see, with 2:38 to play in the third quarter. Had a bunch of points scored so far tonight, 58 to be exact, and Baylor on top, 37-21.
He gets it out to the 34-yard line, so it's 1st and 10 Baylor at their own 30.
Jim, I'd go right back to that pistol look that's been so successful here in the third quarter.
I was going to say, you have some interesting choices because you don't want to take your foot off the gas. I know that, but you wouldn't mind seeing a little time come off the clock, so do you stick with that running game? That has worked well. And there's the answer, Cody Davenport. That's a nice run. There's a penalty flag down. Davenport angles his way for about a 7-yard pickup across the 40 to the 41. But you would guess that would be a holding call where that flag is thrown.
Holding. Offense number 54. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Replay. First down.
I'm going to give a lot of props again to that Baylor offensive line. I think they've done a nice job tonight. Because that defensive line for Stepinac, they're pretty good.
Active.
And they're pretty physical as well.
They are.
The infraction takes it back to the 26.
Sir, you need to pick up your flag. Clean up on mile marker 39.
First down, but 20 to go.
Look at it. He goes, I got your flag. One official picked it up because they just left it on the field. Same play. Davenport running room. Quick burst. He slams his hand on the ground. He knows that he was about a half a step away from making that 10-yard gain, about a 30-yard gain. Brings it up to the 39-yard line.
Gains back the penalty and more.
So it should be about second down, about 5 yards to go. 2nd and 5 for the Red Raiders.
Anytime I see a run up the A gap that easy, I like to credit the center, Big Dom Clifford.
Play action this time. Oh. Just a little bit overthrown, and Amari Jefferson couldn't quite extend himself and grab that pass over the middle. That's one of those, you catch it, you know you're going to take a pop. So now 3rd and 5. But you run, then you go play action. They bite on the run. You have a second or two to throw. And it's 3rd and 5. Davenport again. Stop, start, stutter, and a first down. Tackled from behind, but crosses the 45-yard line. Good enough for a Baylor first down.
Jim went to his right. That closed, went lateral quickly to his left, and just kept the feet turning. Great vision tonight by Cody Davenport.
He's got some moves now. His stop and start, that stutter step, jab step, whatever you want to call it. That has faked out the Crusaders on more than one occasion tonight as he brings it up to the 48-yard line, where it's first down and 10. Muschamp play action again. Sending the linebacker, throws it to LeBlanc, complete. First down and more. Far sideline, then hit out of bounds. There's the flag. Flags all over.
Jim, that time the Crusaders sold out to go after the run, and another solid decision and play call by Baylor.
Watch the linebacker come in a hurry from the outside. Muschamp sees it and just flares it off to LeBlanc. Now, at the end of this play, out of bounds and hit out of bounds right there.
After the play, personal foul and necessary roughness. Defense number 5. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
Wow. And let's credit the Baylor receivers. Again, Jim, we've said it all night because it's happened all night. Great blocking downfield.
Most receiving corps and receiver coaches I know take a great deal of pride in just that. So one play, you get a nice gain and a 15-yard penalty to tack it on, and all of a sudden you're down at the 15-yard line. Back to catch it, Jefferson, then hit out of bounds.
Muscham's pass complete to Amari Jefferson. Run out of bounds by Sam Madu.
They just said, you know, Amari, here, we're going to give it to you, and you do something great. But good coverage by the Crusaders that time.
Only about a 2-yard gain in the forward direction, so 2nd and 8.
Zane Restelli wide, far side. Hand off Davenport, back to the near side. Middle of the fray, and takes a pretty good pop at full steam that time.
Jim, the difference between week 1 and week 3 for Cody Davenport, he moves the pile forward.
I like his acceleration. You're right. He finishes the run, as I always say. And that's part of moving the pile. Low in the shoulder pad. Low man wins. How many coaches have you heard say that in the world of college football, high school football, NFL football? Low man wins, and Cody Davenport's not afraid to get low. Inside the 10. Muschamp and company. Throws it underneath, breaking a tackle. LeBlanc once again.
That time, Eddie Palumbo and Tommy Cottrell were barreling down on Whit Muschamp. I'm impressed he got that off. Another solid decision by number 9.
As the third quarter comes to an end. So we will stroll, I believe, to the other end of the field, and Baylor will have the possession. Now it's going to be 4th. They didn't get the first down, so it's going to be 4th and inches.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're proud to announce that Archbishop of Chattanooga has selected Baylor School Choir Director and Fine Arts Department Chair Vic Oakes to be a recipient of the 2023 Ruth Holmberg Arts Leadership Award. This annual award recognizes individuals who have made significant contributions to the arts in Chattanooga and who are actively engaged in the cultural life of our community. They exemplify ArtsBuild's mission to build a stronger community through the arts, as demonstrated by their significant contributions.
So we move to the fourth quarter with a 37-21 lead. Baylor Red Raiders.
Since 2006.
Archbishop Stepinac Crusaders.
For distinguished teaching in 2015. He is also
I think they traveled to Chattanooga, if I'm not mistaken, on Wednesday.
the Chattanooga Boys Choir. Please join me in congratulating Vic Oaks for this well-deserved recognition by the Chattanooga.
And enjoyed all the heat. Not quite as bad as it was a couple of weeks ago. So, team from White Plains, New York, dodging all that. Mike O'Connell in his 41st year at the school. He's been the head coach at Archbishop Stepinac since 1988. So those of us that live in the Chattanooga area not aware, as much as we should be, of what a great tradition and program they have. And this team from White Plains, New York, made it to the playoffs a year ago, ended up 9-3, won a playoff game, then lost in the semifinal round, I believe. And ranked number 1 in the Catholic League in the state of New York. And you can see why. Coaching is obviously solid. Coached by a legend. Champ hands it off, trying to go to Sparks.
I don't know if he got it.
On a 4th and inches play.
The Crusaders,
yeah,
they have the football.
They sure do. So a 4th and inches. There, are they going to measure? No, it's Baylor, not the officials that are saying first down. But
And the referees deem that it is close enough for a measurement.
I would say from the stick, I think he's just got it. Maybe by half a football. Because he had to get inside the 5, which he did. I'm going with that half a football look. There you go. That's about right. Maybe
Bingo.
3/4, maybe 2/3. But not a whole football, but it is a first down. So first down and goal after converting on the 4th. Baylor's been pretty good on 3rd and 4th down conversion so far tonight. Handoff up the gut and in the end zone, almost untouched.
The play covers 5 yards.
Nothing fancy that time, just going up the gut.
Cooper Gallo will attempt the extra point. With Muschamp will hold.
Extra point.
The kick is good. Baylor 44. Archbishop Stepinac 21.
44 points on the board for the Red Raiders. I would say this for Baylor. You might want to save some of those for next week.
Boy, they made that look easy. Again, Jim, just a solid, workmanlike effort by that Baylor offensive line, especially here in the second half.
Now we're seeing some of the number 2s in there. Mendesi is 33, plays linebacker. That time goes up the gut. Little touchdown, 5-yard touchdown run. Red Raiders go on top 44-21. They have just dominated. Past the first quarter, Red Raiders have really dominated. So Baylor scored 13 in the first quarter, 10 in the second quarter, 14 in the third quarter. On the board here again in quarter number 4.
I'd say that's a fairly emphatic answer by Baylor to the Crusaders' touchdown.
Zaire Spellman returns the kick. Valent Rendesi on the tackle.
Crusaders football, early moments, fourth quarter. Baylor now 11 minutes and 24 seconds away from going 2-1 in the year. Dropped their opening game, won impressively last week in Dublin, winning that game 42-7. So back-to-back weeks over 40 points. So we got a long way to go in this fourth quarter. 11:24 left to play in the fourth. First down and 10.
Lorenzo Robinson carry.
Not a whole lot of running room. And again, you're down by 23 points. Unless you just want to try and catch someone napping and try and bust a big play on the run. Gain of 3 on that first down play, so up to the 37. Second down and 7. Crusader football, Red Raiders, 3-man front. Currid scrambles away from pressure, throws it on the run on the sideline.
Again, Damani White applying the pressure for the Baylor defense.
I was going to say, Damani White and Brother Quincy have been in that backfield a bunch tonight. That time it was number 10. Damani applying the pressure that time. So it'll be third down about 7 from the 37-yard line. Clock stopped with 10:42 remaining. Baylor 44. Archbishop Stepinac 21. 44-21. Baylor showed blitz and dropped the linebackers back. Currid puts it up in the air, and that ball is picked by TJ Fields. Fields back the other way, 40. Midfield, near sideline, breaks a tackle, cuts it inside, finally caught from behind around the 20-yard line.
We talked about Joshua Hampton with the pick, and TJ Fields has one of his own. Those two defensive backs have done an outstanding job tonight for the Red Raider defense. Great hands that time.
That is turnover number 3. Turnover number 3 for Stepinac. 1 fumble, now 2 interceptions.
Play, sideline warning, Baylor.
Look at these hands.
First down.
That's not easy.
Full extension.
Caught it on the way down, right?
Yes. Then tries to go the distance. And look at the help from his teammates. Boy, nothing like an interception to fire up the defenders. They get a chance to to block the guys that have been blocking them.
Turnaround was fair play. First and 10. Red Raiders with 10:25 left to play in quarter number 4. 10:25 remaining. And I believe it is Mr. Cherry who's checked in at quarterback. Riggs Cherry replacing Whit Muschamp right up the middle, but he only gets the hand off, and one play right up the gut. Shakai Mills Knight goes the final 20. And the Red Raiders cross the 50-point plateau. That's a good plateau right there.
Jim, we talked about what we thought the difference is between the 1s and 2s for the Crusaders. I think we've seen that because, boy, these last 2 touchdowns have been easy. 20 yards out, Shakai Mills Knight cruises into the end zone.
Goes 20 for the score. Extra point on the way and good.
The kick is good.
So cashing in on turnovers, always a key. You do it one play later, makes it a little bit sweeter. 20-yard run after the TJ Fields interception. He returns it to the 20, and one play later, Shakai Mills Knight goes the final 20 yards to make it 51-21, and I'd say it's about to be convincing. Baylor scores again. 10:20 mark, fourth quarter.
So Jim, since they're playing in Tennessee, TSSAA officials, do they do the 30-point mercy rule where they run the clock?
That, I think that would be agreed upon. Yeah, you're right. It's not a federation rule. It is a state-by-state rule because Georgia's rule is different.
I guess we'll see. It might be one of those things where if you're playing a team from out of state, it has to be agreed upon before the game.
I would think for sure. But I think TSSAA rule is 35, if I'm not
I thought it
mistaken.
was 30.
Count will kick off for Baylor. Need to receive.
You just want to get home.
Hey, we got the best seat in the house here.
Lets it go out of bounds.
This kick will go out of bounds.
And that's TJ Fields.
Enjoy your night, sir.
Free kick out of bounds. Kicking team. 5-yard penalty. Re-kick.
Making him re-kick.
Re-kick, wow.
That means you think you could make a big play on a return, as they have done really twice tonight. They had a 99-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. Had a 50-yard punt return that was called back because of a holding call. But they've shown some prowess in the return game so far tonight. So taking the penalty, most teams just say, yeah, I'll take it to the 25-yard line, let's go. But they can re-kick because that's where really the bigger plays could occur. Line drive, fielded at the 15, 20, 25. They might have been right. Kind of shoved out of bounds near midfield. I think they're going to put it on the Baylor 45-yard line.
Oh, they certainly won on that decision in field position.
It made them look pretty darn good.
And again, Jim, that was not an easy kick to field. Troy Worrell has just done an outstanding job tonight.
Clock is running, by the way.
Clock is running.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Return team number 23. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
Wasn't that outstanding, I guess.
Yeah, in retrospect. So they had it before the penalty call on the 45, the Baylor 45-yard line. Move it all the way back to the 15. Wow.
Penalty for the block in the back is paced off from the spot of the infraction. So that actually takes Archbishop Stepinac back to the 15-yard line, where it is 1st and 10.
(51-21). 30-point lead for the Red Raiders. Kurek throws on the run once again. Boy, his throws on the run, and same for Whit Muschamp, but Kurek has impressed me. When he's flushed from the pocket, his arm strength is pretty darn impressive.
Boy, especially for a left-hander going
Runs out of bounds after
away from the to the boundary.
Picks up about 5, maybe 6 yards. 6 yards to the 21. 2nd and 4. Low snap. Kurek picks up a block along the way, fires it out to receiver. It's basically a no gain. He goes out of bounds, maybe even lost a yard.
Number 17, Troy Worrell.
They give Worrell a couple of yards near side.
Run out of bounds by Bradley Alunga Bisalele.
And just short or just enough? Just enough for a first down. Just enough for a first down. So 1st down and 10 right at the 25-yard line. Just enough. Clock running with 6.5 minutes remaining. So we're officially in mercy rule land. 51-21, 30-point Baylor lead. Kind of poured it on in the second half. Really a close game, entertaining game, especially for the first quarter and a half. Kurek throws long. Can't quite make the catch. Trying to go to his running back, Lorenzo Robinson. Robinson was double teamed, but had a moment where I thought he could have jumped up and possibly made that catch.
Jim, that's a long route for a running back to run.
Is.
My goodness.
Kurek, I'll say, I like his arm strength. His accuracy is good. You can certainly understand why he threw for 28 touchdowns a year ago. Second down 10. Red Raiders about 5.5 minutes from going 2-1 on the year. Over the middle on the slant, but timing a little bit off. So it'll be third down and 10.
Third down and 10.
Where's our man Jahai Gary? There he is, top of the screen. Boy, if he has one-on-one coverage, I'd go to him a whole bunch.
I would too.
And say, you know what? You're going to win that jump ball a whole bunch of times. That's 6'5". Sending the running back in motion on third down. And snuffed from the pocket and brought down in the center of the field. John Amofa Jr.
On the sack.
Chased him down from behind. When you see defensive linemen get people from behind, that means they haven't given up on the play. Sometimes you overrun. Effort was still there. Got the quarterback in traffic from behind and dropped him before he could pick up a first down. Good job by the Baylor nose tackle. I don't think that will go down for a sack, but he's their number one sack man coming into this game with a couple. High snap and a punt. Wow, that punt hasn't gone 15 yards. It's going to take a backspin.
Goodness.
Look at that.
Ball takes a Baylor bounce.
That is going to be about a net 7 yards on the punt.
Goodness.
Because the line of scrimmage was what, the 25-yard line or 22 or 23? Yeah, it's going to be about a net 5 yards. Put it high up in the air, didn't get much distance, had the backspin and took a Baylor roll.
Marco Grassi has done an outstanding job tonight. That's one he'd like to have back.
That hurts your average. When those punts get to single figures.
Yes.
It's not like the swimming
That's
judge.
not on the
You
top
can't
line
throw
of the resume.
Yeah. You can't throw out the score from the Russian judge on that one. Got to keep that on the average. First and 10 Red Raiders, although they will not be in any hurry. And the night is completed for Whit Muschamp. Briggs Cherry.
Keaton Whaley on the carry.
So under 3 minutes remaining, and we're officially in the mop-up work, aren't we?
Yes, we are. 30-point margin for Baylor. Gosh, Jim, at one point this game was tied at 13.
Tied at 13-13 at the end of the quarter, and Stepinac had a 13-10 lead at one point.
So that's 41-8.
Yes.
They've been outscored.
Keaton Whaley again on the carry.
And you just have to know by the way this game turned. They decided at halftime, we know where our edge is. And it's with the big fellas up front. We're going to get physical and just claim some real estate and let our running backs get the job done.
Running backs getting the job done. Muschamp having time to throw and picking out receivers. Yeah.
I think that one of the key plays, Jim, in the second half, where the mesh point was missed, high snap, and Whit Muschamp turned that into a 20-yard or so gain, and you just knew it was on after that.
High snap. He kind of did a Dennis Rodman, kind of tapped it to himself, as you recall. Carried it up the field himself. No one expecting him to run. Converted on a big play, and the drive went from there. And then when you score the onside kick, that's a gutty call. It said, you know what, we're going to end this thing right here. So after Baylor scored onside kick, got the ball and scored again. So they
Jim,
scored 14, bang, bang.
So well executed, there was not a Crusader within 10 yards of that football. Outstanding all-around effort in all three phases of the game. Some things to clean up, but this is a well-earned win. And next week,
number one
Lipscomb comes rolling into Chattanooga.
They'll be fun to watch. I'm looking forward to seeing them because they got it rolling. Trent Dilfer's no longer there. He's now the head coach. left Lipscomb. Now's the head coach at UAB, Alabama Birmingham, head coach of the Blazers, but they've gotten better and better. And I tell you what, I understand why Trent Dilfer was able to bring some players in that Nashville area in his program. Interviewed him before they played CPA in the championship game. Got to do that game on television with my buddy Scott McMahon. We did that game, but you could certainly tell. And the shifts in the Nashville area of, Ensworth had their run. Brentwood obviously had their run. MBA had their run. And now Lipscomb Academy having their run. And they are the team to beat. Number 1 in the state. So Baylor, let's see. Baylor's 3 entering tonight. So Lipscomb was 1, McCauley was 2, Baylor was 3. We're officially in victory formation right now with 1:13 and counting left to play in the game.
Greg Muschamp will take a knee.
Brought Muschamp back in for the victory formation, right?
He has pushed a lot of the right buttons tonight, Jim. The decision making and a couple of these throws have just been outstanding. Boy, the one to LeBlanc, low, tight coverage.
Yes, that was the thread the needle. That might have been his toughest throw of the night.
Put his running backs on some of the screens in a great position to catch the ball in stride.
That one
great all-around effort.
That one to LeBlanc, you said that was a fastball, but I thought he had some good intermediate throws, good change-ups tonight as well.
Absolutely.
Did some finesse, did some hard stuff, and we're going to watch this clock tick down its final 13 seconds before the Red Raiders go 2-1
That's the end of the ball game.
For the year.
Baylor's next game will be a home game, so we'll see you in a week for the big game against Lipscomb Academy.
Mark it down as a final. Baylor 51-21, a 30-point win for the Red Raiders. And again, now number 1, Lipscomb comes to town next week. So Baylor goes to 2-1, lost their opening game a couple of weeks ago here at home. Really played well in Ireland against Seton Hall. Played really well tonight. I would say dominated for 3 quarters tonight. After that first quarter was a push, tied at 13-13. Baylor dominated the rest of the way. And boy, there's some great challenges coming up. Lipscomb next week. Then after that, the next home game after Lipscomb is Brentwood Academy. Then at McCauley, Life Christian Academy, MBA at home, Father Ryan at home, then it's on to the playoffs. But a great performance tonight. You can really talk about a lot of names that had big games tonight, a lot of guys on offense. Nelson McKnight, I thought another exceptional game from his linebacker spot. Picked off some passes, TJ Fields. So a good night overall for the Red Raiders.
Great all-around effort, great onside kick. Your defensive backs made interceptions. Plays when they had to. Defense caused turnovers, opportunistic. You're going to need all that and more next week.
Yeah, the flaws we talked about tonight, maybe the penalties, a couple other things. Can't do that against the number 1 team in the state. But what a great matchup we'll be able to see next week. 7 days from today. Looking forward to it already. Baylor will take on number 1 Lipscomb in a game that really has some interesting things on the line for both this Red Raider team and also for Lipscomb. We've enjoyed you being here tonight. Hope you enjoyed Baylor Game Day Football. We begin 7 o'clock next week. All you have to do is go to YouTube and search Baylor School Football. You'll be able to find us. Be here, though. Should be a fun crowd, great atmosphere next week when the number 1 team in the state, Lipscomb, comes to Haywood Field for the contest between Lipscomb and the Red Raiders here in Chattanooga. For Craig Cecil and our very, very talented crew, hope to see you next week. Big win for the Red Raiders tonight here in Chattanooga. Final score, Baylor wins it by 30, Red Raiders 51, and the Crusaders 21. 51-21, Red Raiders by 30. Here's some of the highlights on the way out.